Hi and welcome to the Australian Formula Ford eChallenge. My name is Icky Harrington and I'm the Category Manager of the Australian Formula Ford Championship. Normally at this time of the year we'd be racing real cars on real tracks, but unfortunately that's not possible this year. So to fill the void, we're about to go racing in the virtual world. The drivers you'll watch in our eChallenge are actual competitors from our national, state and historic championships. We've also got a great mix of past competitors, champions and guys who have gone on to compete in all sorts of other categories. Adding to the mix, we've got young go-karters who dream of careers in motorsport and see Formula Ford as the best place to make their transition into cars. Joining us also will be some big names from Porsche Carrera Cup and supercars. When we go to the track in a minute, you might think it's a bit odd that we're racing in Formula Renault 2.0 cars. The reason for that is that iRacing doesn't have a Formula Ford, so the next best thing for us is the Formula Renault. And as race car drivers, we always want to race the next fastest thing, and in this case, we're going to be racing the Formula Renault car. It's also got a similarity to the Formula Ford 2000 of years gone by, which is also slicks and wings and powered by a 2-litre engine. I'd also like to give you a quick update on the actual Australian Formula Ford Championship. Unfortunately, due to coronavirus restrictions, we've had to either cancel or postpone the first couple of rounds of the championship. Unfortunately, we don't know how the next couple of months are going to roll out, but what I can assure you is that as soon as we can go racing again, we will fashion the best championship we can out of the remaining opportunities during the year. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy all the action from the Australian Formula Ford eChallenge.
Welcome to round 5 and the final round of our Australian Formula Ford eChallenge tonight from Mount Panorama, Bathurst, and one of the most amazing racetracks in the world. And it's going to be a fitting way to finish off what's been a great 5 rounds of this E-Series and the real-world Formula Ford competitors getting together as a bit of a community spirit thing and doing a bit of a challenge while we couldn't get onto the real racetracks. Now, the good news is we do have some news later on in the broadcast, which will tell you all about the upcoming rounds of the Formula Ford series, and it's great that they will be back on the racetrack very soon, and we'll get to see and smell the cars once again for some real life action. But until then, we've still got one more round of this series to go. 2 races tonight from Bathurst, and all your favourite drivers who have rocked up today are out there on the racetrack starting to set some times in practice. Let's get them up on the board now. You can see it is Cody Bircher at the top by about 0.6 of a second, or nearly 0.7 of a second over Cooper Allen, Ryder Quinn. Rounding out your top 3, we're looking at Stephen White just heading down to start another flying lap for himself, and he's running that fantastic livery on that car, which represents a similar livery who you used to run back in the day. So we'll shoot you lots of information throughout this broadcast. Thanks Dan Holohan there for being the first person to share tonight's E-Series broadcast. Appreciate that. Mr. Houlihan, I apologise, I said your name wrong there. Thank you very much, and I'm sad to not see you out there on the track. You should be out there racing with these guys, so we know you don't like iRacing so much, but come on, you've still got time to log in and have a crack. Still a fair bit of time in this practice session before we go live into qualifying. There's Cooper Allen on your screen now for Cooper Allen Motorsport. And let's just keep going through all the drivers out there. Here's Ryder Quinn. We'll have a look at these liveries as well as they head around this fantastic circuit. It's nice and sunny out there, which is good to see. Dave Roberts, very experienced racer out there for LRE Motorsport, running around in 4th position. Oh, just tucking it onto the grass and hitting the fence, so that's going to take the nose off that car, and he'll have to reset to the pits and start again as they just find their feet here in practice. Will Liston's out there on the racetrack at the moment. We've got this new shot from the metal grate. Hopefully you enjoy that tonight when you see all the cars squirt up through there for the first time. That should be a pretty exciting way to view the cars screaming through that part of the mountain. Todd Willing as well out on the racetrack. He's in 8th position at the moment, the 41 car, just heading up the mountain, trying to find a little bit of position or space on the racetrack here to get himself out there in some clean air and try and get a lap time put down. Obviously, practice not super important. It's important once we get to qualifying to make sure you do lock in a lap But being that this is a long lap around Mount Panorama, we're seeing them do just around the 2:06 mark, which is not too bad really when you consider what a supercar does around here. These little 2-litre Renaults, they are pretty quick across the top. And it'll be interesting though to see, with such a long outlap, you need to make sure you make the most of your flying lap and you don't mess anything up before that, because if you have to reset to the pits or drive back to the pits, the amount of time you waste is quite incredible. And we've also got Joshua Jackson, there he is, just coming down through Forest Elbow in the number 3 car tonight. I do love the livery on that car. And he's got someone just tucked in behind him. I think that's Ryder Quinn it is. So getting a little bit of a slipstream there down Conrod Straight. We do have visor cam again tonight, so we're going to take full advantage of that once again in this series. Let's just try it out now for the first time, have a little bit of a look. So we ride on board here with Josh Jackson, heading down to the fastest part of this circuit into the chase. You'll see him hard on the brakes there from about the 100-metre board. Tip it in here. You can see the Ridges Hotel there over to the right-hand side under the Armour Bridge, keeping your focus completely now towards the braking zone into the final corner, which is Murray's Corner. Hard on the brakes. Try not to touch the curbs through there, because it will send you into the barrier if you do that under our start-finish line, and off he goes to start another lap. So we'll bring you plenty of visor cam tonight. Hopefully you enjoy that. G'day Lockie Barlow, nice to have you watching along. And everyone else, if you want to get involved in the chat tonight, we are broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook and a few other sources, but make sure if you want to talk along and engage with me a little bit in the chat, do it on the Lucas Esports Facebook page, and I'll appreciate a follow and a like. If you want to keep in touch with all the series we're covering at the moment, it's pretty incredible. I think we've got about 13 series on the go, about 600 drivers we're dealing with, and most of them real world drivers. It's fantastic from all different classes of racing, from Formula Ford, Formula V, sports sedans, you name it, we're covering it at the moment. It's incredible. So there's Dave Roberts just heading up the mountain straight once again. He's in 5th position there, the number 4 car. And he's very experienced. He's going to enjoy this tonight, I think, running around Bathurst. I'm sure he's done a few laps around here in his time, and heading up there at the moment. Just tucked in behind Willing it is, just up ahead. Todd Willing on the racetrack. There is Todd just going up through the cutting. Todd's currently in 6th spot as he gets the back end all out of shape there. So does Roberts, really. So a few of the drivers probably just coming to terms with this fixed setup, which they do run, and they'll have to sort that out tonight. And they don't get a lot of opportunity to get used to the way the car's going to handle. It's basically, here's the session, here's the setup, time to get going, guys, and they do have to quickly adjust, so it does take a little bit of time for some of the drivers. So Dan just saying, don't have my own sim, otherwise I'd probably would have had to go. Love Bathurst though, fun circuit. Enjoy lads, and commentator Luke, who should commentate the New South Wales Racing Series in real life. Mate, I'd love to. My phone is on, waiting for the invitation. Love to do that. And he says, still love the real thing though. And I think a lot of people do. I mean, sim racing is great fun, but at the end of the day, you don't get the same sensation you do as when you strap yourself into a race car and you send yourself down here at a couple of 100 k's an hour with all the danger and excitement that is entailed with that. So Steve Cordes out on the racetrack now. He's carrying our webcam tonight. We're just going to see if he's there. There we are. We've got a bit of a bird's eye view for Steve via Twitch. Slight delay in that telecast via Twitch, but that's just the way it is. We'll get a bit of a look tonight at his on-board footage as well, picture-in-picture with Steve Cordes. So good luck, Steve, running in 10th place at the moment. Just about to cross the line. What does he do on that lap? Does he improve? He does, up to 6th position now, so a 2:07.5. at the moment. That puts him about, off the pace? It's around 1.6 seconds off the pace to Cody Bircher, who at the moment has done a blistering lap time there, 2:05.92. So incredible job. We're getting set though. This is the pointy end of the season. We'll have all the results at the end. Hopefully we'll be able to crown the winner. Got a fantastic prize on offer tonight as well. Some gloves have been awarded from Free M. So looking forward to I'll talk with Icky later on in the program too. We'll be able to chat about all those sorts of things and thank all the sponsors that have been involved in this series. And also a big thanks once again to the Formula Ford Association for all their help and allowing us to run this E-Series. It's been fantastic. I think people have really enjoyed seeing the real names out there, the real drivers, jumping into their virtual cockpits and battling it out every 2 weeks or so. So here we are. Almost 10 weeks after starting the series, we're about to finish it all up here at Bathurst. Couldn't think of a better place to do it, could you? It's a fantastic racing circuit. It's not very forgiving though. If you make a mistake, you do bite the concrete pretty quickly. as you just see Josh Jackson there just coming down through Forest Elbow, really tentative there on the brakes, making sure he doesn't lose the rear end and snap that around into the barrier, because it's all over Red Rover if you do that. We've got about 20 drivers, I think, so far logged in for this session. Be good. We should have a few more, I think, logging in as we go through practice and then head in towards qualifying, and then race 1 and then race 2 will be our finale tonight, and it should be fantastic to see who can take home the trophy. We've got Zach Bates just popped up into the timing screens now. He's up there in 3rd position with Brady McHugh in 4th. Ryder Quinn still there in 5th spot. Steve Cordes in 6th. And it's Liston, Roberts, Willing and Dialia rounding out your top 10 at the moment. Up the front though, still Birchett and Allen. Bit hard to beat at the moment, aren't they? Those times are pretty quick. Cody, 8.5 tenths clear of the field at the moment with that lap time of a 2:05.916. So interesting to watch that. Keep an eye on it, and we'll try and get a few guys into the green room shortly to have a chat as well. We can talk to some of these drivers whilst they're driving, and it's pretty cool in the modern era that we can do that. We can catch up, we can talk about their future plans, all that sort of stuff. And as soon as we get fed a few people into the green room, we're going to get in touch with them. And there's Benjamin Dialia on your screen right now. Great livery on that car. Let's just ride on board with him, although his internet may not be secure enough. We're just going to jump on board. Some of these guys with a low ping, or a high ping I should say, don't have the best of internet, and you can just see he's flashing in and out there. So we'll just cross across to Kyle Gurton at the moment. He's in 13th position in the 21 car. A nice livery on this car too, as he loses the rear end there. And does he keep it off the fence? He does. He lights it up. Let's hope no one's coming around to collect him. Oh, and he does. Just as I said, that gets collected by, I think that I didn't see who that was, but they're both back in the pits now, so it doesn't really matter. Luckily, with iRacing, you can reset. There's no damage bill. There's Thomas Sargent. Great to see Thomas out on the racetrack. Been seeing some of his social media posts in the last week or two, doing some good things in the off season, and that's fantastic. Right, we're going to grab Cody Birchry now. Cody, you're live on the broadcast, mate. Can you talk us around a lap of this place?
Yeah, for sure.
So you're just coming down. Yeah, you're just coming down through the final couple of corners now. I'll leave it all in your hands, mate. Talk us through from Murray's corner on.
No worries. So you start off the lap. Obviously, it's ideal to get a good run under the main straight. It's only a short straight. Pull 5th gear. Back down to 2nd. Late apex. Try to get the best run you can up mountain straight. Minimise wheel spin. You can run a little bit of exit curb. But sometimes if you hit it on a bad angle, it can disrupt the car too much and spin you around. Going up mountain straight, you've got to watch a lot of the bumps because the car can bottom out, so you've got to pick a certain line and then back into 3rd for turn 2. Keep it close to the apex, run it right out, don't touch that curb, otherwise you might as well break into wheel spin. Just try to keep as much momentum up as you can here. The car is very twitchy through here, so you've got to be very precise in your lines through the cutting and make sure you get a straight line, and the rest of the top of the mountain is just carrying your speed through, picking the line, not trying to cut corners too much, just sweeping it through, keep it smooth. 5th, 6th, flow it over the top. Skyline's hard because you got to get on the brake and then back off it because the car gets a little bit light. And then don't touch the curb, back down to 2nd for the dip here. Get it nice and close to the wall, go wall to wall. And then into Forest Elbow, it's all about getting the best exit you can. So you go out wide, cut in, 2nd gear, then pull 3rd as early as you can. And try to get the best run you can down Conrod. Once again, there's lots of bumps down here, so you've got to find a line where it doesn't bottom out. Otherwise you lose lots of top end speed, which is never ideal, especially in a racing situation. You just pull 7th about now, just before you go into the kink. Nice and close, about the 75 mark. Down to 3rd gear, get it close to the curb, run it out to the 2nd. Just touch the little curb, that wasn't ideal, but flow it right out to the outside. Down into Murray's, second gear, and then pull 3rd onto the curb, and then that's a lap for you.
Great lap, man, too. That looked really smooth and quick across the top. It was a 2:06.2, so about 5 tenths off your best so far, but definitely look hooked up there. And, man, you're looking forward to a good race tonight. Have you done much real-life racing around this racetrack?
Considering how far I am away from this racetrack, no. Obviously, Orange only being half an hour to 45 minutes away, it's definitely one I want to tick off tick off the bucket list, but unfortunately I haven't. Formula Ford obviously haven't been there in the last, or the Duratec Formula Fords haven't been there in the last maybe 5-6 years. So unfortunately no, but whenever there's a race meeting on, we're generally pretty quick there, because we stay up on one of the houses at Mountain Straight, so it's pretty much a ritual to go there.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, it's awesome. The whole atmosphere of being at all the events there is second to none. So it's definitely one I'd want to tick off the bucket list sooner or later, hopefully sooner. But yeah.
That's it, mate. It's a sacred spot for motorsport in Australia, and you're doing a good job in this E-Series as well. You've been consistent. You're taking all the points, and how are you looking just forward to finishing out the last round tonight?
Obviously, we want to finish the round as well as we can. Obviously, the ideal thing is obviously be to try to get the round win again. But yeah, it's been a good series so far. I think it's definitely serves its purpose, and I guess keeping everyone's heads ticking over in this extended period of time off. Obviously, everything's not necessarily getting back to normal, but there's track days are starting to open again and all that. So it's exciting to be. It's exciting to be going back on and just getting back to racing. That's the best.
Yeah, for sure, mate. And we do have some news later, and obviously you guys already know, but just the rounds have been announced for round 1 will be August 1st and 2nd at Gardner Circuit at Sydney Motorsport Park. So that'll be fantastic. Not too far away, really. And then September there'll be a round at Wakefield Park, and then November back to Sydney Motorsport Park for the 3rd round of the New South Wales Championship. So that's good to see that the dates are starting to flow through, and some running is going to happen soon.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it's nice to know sort of a direction that the calendar's going, and obviously the sooner the better for everyone. But I mean, when the time's right, it'll all happen. So if we can do everything right, get the procedures right, all that, follow everything we have to, it hopefully it'll all sort itself out.
Good on you, mate. All right, we'll have a good run tonight. We'll chat to you later on.
No worries,
Thanks, Cody. Cheers, mate. So that was Cody Bircher just having a chat. We're going to grab Kyle Gurdon in for a quick chat now. Kyle's back in the pit later, mate. But how you going tonight, Kyle? You all set for this final race?
Yeah. We'll see how it goes here at Bathurst, but I'm not really on the pace at the moment. I've got a bit more practicing to do, but yeah.
You're currently 13th here in practice. You're about 4 seconds off the pace, but the pace is quick at the front, isn't it? It's a 2:05.7, which is about a second clear of anyone at the moment. So all things considered, you're probably only 3 seconds off the pace for the rest of the field. But, mate, you're a national competitor. You race for Team Sonic, and let us just know how you're excited about getting back to some real racing.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. Saw the proposed calendar that's come out. Hopefully, that's going to be the calendar, and this stuff, all this COVID stuff settles down and we can get right back into it. I'm pretty pumped to go out there with Sonic and see how we go for the year.
Yeah, and how long have you been running in the Formula Ford series?
Last year was my first year of Formula Ford, and this is going to be my first year in the National Series. I did Vic State last year, and now it's National this year.
Yep,
so
and
second year.
Yeah, and have you done obviously karting and stuff leading up towards that?
No.
Okay, so straight.
Jump straight back in. Oh, not back into it. Just jump straight into it. In 2018. 2018 was my first sort of drive of race cars, but.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And this place can be a little bit daunting, Bathurst, with all the walls and that sort of stuff. I guess you haven't raced here in real life yet?
Yeah. Back in the Bathurst 6 Hour 2019, I raced here with Aaron Cameron and Cooper Murray.
Oh, awesome.
In 86, and we won our class in the Class C, so...
Oh, how cool is that? Oh, so you got some experience around here, so you know the place well. I did watch for that 6 hours, so obviously I didn't know all the names back then, but that's pretty cool to have that experience around here. And what's an 86 do around this place? About 2.5 minutes, is it?
Yeah, 2 minute 40s sort of thing.
Yep, so a little bit quicker today in these little Formula 2000s or 2s. But just to have that real world experience will be good for you. I guess the other thing that will play into account today will be the traffic, and obviously just trying to get through cleanly, because if you're starting around the top 10 or 11th or 12th, it's going to be pretty hectic. I reckon that first run up the straight into Griffins could be a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, it's just going to have to be a case of giving each other a little bit extra space, and just see if we can make it across the first lap and then sort of settle into it and get the rhythm going.
That's it, mate. Well, good luck. We'll hopefully speak to you later on, and have a great run tonight. We'll get some onboard footage of you later once you get back out on the track.
Cheers, mate. Catch you.
Thanks, Kyle. See you, mate. So that was Kyle Girton there, just having a quick chat with us, Team Sonic driver. And great to have a few people jumping in for a talk before we get underway in qualifying in about 7 minutes' time. Hopefully doing well out there. Just reading a couple of comments on the live chat. We've got Jonathan Miles, unfortunately can't make it today, but supporting Dave Roberts, Todd Willing and Henry Thomas Kircher. So there you go, just putting his support in. And Brad Newman saying, have a dip, Cody Bircher. Good to see a few people getting involved on the chat and sharing the stream and following along as well, which is great. And if you are engaging in the conversation, make sure you jump over to Lucas Esports and check out that stream there, because that's where I can actually see your comments, and which is fantastic. We're going to have a talk in a sec to Will Liston. He's just currently going up Mountain Straight. We're just riding on board with him now for Listic Race Cars. We'll grab him in shortly just for a quick chat. He's just currently in the green room. And we'll see if he's happy to talk and drive. Some of the drivers aren't. Oh, he's pulling over to the side of the racetrack, so there you go. He's going to jump across and jump down to the pit lane now to have a chat with us. Well, let's just grab him in now. Will, how you going, buddy? You're live on the broadcast.
Yeah, Luke, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate. Are you excited for this final round of this eChallenge series?
Yeah, absolutely I am. Bathurst is certainly a very different challenge to what we've had so far. It's a lot less forgiving of a track, and it's also something we're quite familiar with.
That's it, mate. Now, let us know. You're the son of Paul Liston from Listic Race Cars. Yep. Something about a new car being built, Nicky was saying?
Yeah, we're underway on the Listec Will 019, which we've been working on for a little bit now. We're sort of getting towards the final phases of that with getting body panels done, and yeah, it's really exciting. So hopefully we'll have a car on track soon to replace the 013 model that we've been running for quite a few years now, and yeah, it's quite an exciting time.
That's fantastic news, mate. And how hands-on are you with that process of building the cars and getting involved in that?
Not very.
Not very? Is it something you want to do in the future?
Yeah, I'm sort of more involved in the media side of motorsports. Like I work on motorsports television and that kind of thing, and I'd be lying if I said I had any real engineering abilities, but I just try and be part of the team where I can, whether it's doing little videos or whether it's getting involved in something like this where we can get our name out there through esports, which is sort of the people that design the cars, and I do this.
That's it. Now, you have had one start, though, in a Formula Ford, haven't you, at the National Round at Wakefield Park in 2019?
Yep. Yeah, that was actually one of the most special things I've ever done, to race for my dad and have that whole sort of family experience over the weekend. It was actually really incredible. We weren't there to go win trophies or anything. We were there to sort of have fun as a family, which is what motorsports and especially Formula Ford is really about. So yeah, it was a lot of fun being involved in the championship last year, even if it was just that one round.
That's it, mate, and created some great memories which you'll obviously cherish forever, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, also, you, as you said before, you touched on you do the media sort of stuff. Now, you're still working for Neil Crompton's Airtime Media Company, is that right? Yep,
still out there making racing videos, sort of a bit less of that in the current climate, because there's not a whole lot of racing to make videos of. But yeah, I'm really enjoying sort of diving into that side of motorsport after spending sort of the years growing up with Dad in the race team. It's really exciting being part of that side of it as well.
Yeah, fantastic, man. That's really cool. So looking forward to seeing how you go tonight in this final round. Obviously 2 races. It's going to be one where, just looking where you are in the timing screens at the moment, you're down there in, where are you? I'm just trying to find your name on there.
8th at the moment.
8th at the moment. So you're in the top 10, which is good. Yeah, you are 8th. So just behind David Roberts. I think it's going to be quite important here at Bathurst to be up in that top 10 or around there, because like I was saying before to the other guys, and Kyle and Cody as well, just that first run up the hill into the first couple of corners, and then obviously as it all squeezes into the cutting, it's going to be important not to get into an altercation there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be just as important to not put yourself in a position where you can't see around the blind corners. Like if you're up the front, you can sort of tell what's happening, but if you're mired back in the pack a bit, there could be anything on the other side of those corners, especially at Bathurst, because it's so much elevation change and so little room for error. But yeah, it's going to be critical being that front pack.
Yeah, and the cutting, I think, is one place where we do see that quite often. As Steve White just goes around in the background there. The cutting where it is a blind corner and you can see a car quite often block the track there and not be able to turn around. These cars, not really enough power to do a flick spin even. I think you could probably just turn them around, but yeah, you can come around a blind corner there and all of a sudden we could have 10 or 12 cars on top of each other. So let's hope we don't get that, but something you're going to have to really keep on your toes when you're out there.
Yeah, for sure. I think the cutting, like you mentioned, in places like the Dipper and Forest Elbow, these are low open wheel cars. They're bottoming out quite a bit with this setup.
Yep.
It means once you've committed to that corner, you don't really have an opportunity to change your line. So it's I think it'll be even more critical than previous weeks. You're just going to want to keep it clean, keep it out of other people's mistakes, because your race could just as easily be ended by someone else's mistake as it could your own. So I think that's the key to this week.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Now, no drivers briefing tonight. I'm seeing everyone's still out on the racetrack, so we're 38 and a half minutes into the 40-minute mark. So I think we've had a drivers briefing every other week, haven't we, at the 35-minute mark?
Yeah, I think I saw a message pop up in chat earlier saying, let's race clean, let's have fun, which I guess 5 rounds into the season, it's probably all the drivers briefing we need, I guess.
Fantastic, mate. Well, we'll let you go. Good luck in qualifying. We'll cross back to you soon.
No worries. Thanks so much
Will.
for all the work you've done broadcasting this, mate.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good race. See ya. That was Will Liston there, just having a quick chat. Now, we're going to go to a quick video here for a special final time here for a very good competitor in Formula 4, and then moved his way right through every category up to supercars and achieved many, many things. So let's finish out our final round with our presentation here that was put together for Formula Ford for Jamie Whincup. Check it out.
When I think of Formula Ford, I think of a community, a group of people that have one ambition: to go racing, to race hard, to have fun, and try to get to the finish line first.
Jamie Whincup, tell us about your early Formula Ford days coming out of go-karting.
Yes, you're straight out of go-karts, and it's the first opportunity to drive on all the big racetracks. And it's the first opportunity to use a gearbox and also suspension as well. So a huge step. The speeds that you do in a Formula Ford, say at a place like Phillip Island, is well over 200k. So it's a big eye-opener, and it's another huge learning experience. You feel like you know a lot coming out of go-karts, but then it just opens up another new world.
We know that you won the title in 2002, but tell us about making the step. When did you first drive a Formula Ford?
So it wasn't until my father and my uncle, Graham, brought me a 1994 Van Diemen off a family friend of ours. And yeah, we made the transition, and I remember taking it to Calder for the first time, and then we did another test day at Winton, and then I think one of my first races was the Island Magic at Phillip Island.
You had some pretty stiff competition in that championship winning year, you and Mark Frosty Winterbottom going head-to-head. Tell us about that season.
The year before was a cracker. 2001, it was myself, Will Davison and Will Power who were battling it out, and I ended up running third behind those guys. So that was a big, steep learning experience, and one I was very grateful for. Those guys moved on, and then I stayed in for 2002, and as you say, I had a cracker battle with Frosty and my teammate Marcus Marshall at the time. It was good hard racing, crazy amount of slipstreaming, and I'm very thankful of those years, because it certainly gave me a lot of racecraft moving into supercars.
Do you have a standout memory or a standout race from your time in Formula Ford?
Round 1 was at Wakefield Park, and we had a fantastic result, so I'll never forget that. Bathurst was a good one as well. Early days in Formula Ford. I went to Bathurst. It was year 2000. And I don't know if you remember. There's a stupid amount of rain. We literally had to put rope around the front wishbones, pull the car through the mud to get it to the dummy grid to start the race. My car turned off, so I had to start from the rear of the grid. Came through to fourth. So it was that was the first experience of Bathurst in a Formula Ford, and one I'll never forget.
After you won that title, what sort of springboard did that provide for you to go on and become the Supercars champion that you've become?
As I say, I think Formula Ford teaches you so much racecraft. You know, it's the first opportunity out of cars to deal with shock absorbers and springs and things. But it's racecraft. You know, all the cars are so even, so close. got to position yourself really right for the last lap. And no doubt all those skills I learned from the Ford I still use today in supercars.
Righto guys, here we are live for qualifying now. So most of the drivers are out there on the racetrack. They've done their out laps and we are getting set for the important part of the session where they start to put some lap times down. We'll throw it over into quali mode. So down the bottom of the screen you'll start to see sector times popping up. You'll see the purple sectors meaning they're the quickest of anyone out there. The green sectors meaning they are on a personal best. And obviously a yellow sector meaning you're going slower than your personal best, which isn't ideal. At the moment you can see Cody Bircher, a couple of purple sectors already. He's looking pretty dominant tonight after his times there in practice. But a few other drivers making their way out there. A couple that have missed a few rounds there. We've got Cameron Hill, who's just logged on, I can see. So that's good to have Cameron here today. Let's hope he gets out on the track soon and puts in a few laps. At the moment I think he's just sitting in the pit lane. And who else have we got out there? We've got Steve White running well. Good luck, Steve, in the final round of this eChallenge. And you can just see the amount of speed they carry across the top as we ride on board with White here up towards Skyline and down through the S's. Just incredible, keeping it clean down through here. Like, oh, he's losing the rear end. He's going to hit the fence there. Huge incident for Steve White. As I was just saying, it's so important to modulate the brake through there. And it is quite hard in the sim to get used to that. We heard Will before saying that the setup is a very low setup tonight, scraping and bottoming out a lot. So it can canoe itself down through there if you do get the line wrong and touch a curb. It can all of a sudden be bottoming out. And the bad thing about that is the wheels aren't, or the tyres are no longer contacting to the racetrack, and you end up just spearing into a fence. So keep an eye for the lap time starting to pop up on the left-hand side of the screen. Cody Bircher at the moment. We're just seeing him light up the screen with purple sectors. Here he is now crossing the line. Let's see what sort of benchmark he sets now with that lap time. It is a 2:05.9, so that's almost what he did in practice, so it's pretty quick, isn't it? And it will be interesting to see if anyone can get close to that for this qualifying session. A 2:08.7, the second time put up on our screen now is by Steve Cordes there. He is just crossing the line as Roberts now goes up there with a 2:07.5. We'll look for some other drivers just completing their laps at the moment. Zach Bates has just gone across the line. Didn't register a time, so possibly brushed a fence or had an incident there, which is interesting. So one of the things with iRacing you've got to make sure as Todd Willing crosses the line and goes up into third spot with a 2:07.9. One of the things with iRacing is really important that you don't rub a barrier or make any sort of contact with the grass patch or go off the racetrack, because it actually cancels out your lap time, so that's not good at all. G'day Kurt Bond on the chat there saying, great work Lucas Esports, appreciate it man, good luck to David Roberts and Todd Willing, and go Stephen White. Feel old seeing that livery. So Kurt recognising the livery there, and I was chatting to Stephen. Unfortunately, let me see if I can quickly grab a photo. I did have I'm going to open up another window here, and something I hadn't prepared earlier, but Stephen had sent me a photo of his car back in the day. I'm going to see if I can quickly find that for you and drag it into the chat here, because it's fantastic to see. I'm running a different series at the moment on every Friday night, the Formula 5000 series, running lots of classic liveries of cars from days gone by, and it does jog your memory, I should say, and gives you some fantastic feelings as well when you do see old liveries from the old days. Now I'm just going to quickly bring up that picture that I was chatting about there, and no, it's Stephen. I'm not sure where he sent it to me. It wasn't Facebook, it was somewhere else. So if I can find it, folks, I'll get it up there for you. Have a look. Pretty cool. But at the moment, he's still got to get a lap in. We saw him hit the fence earlier. We do have 30 minutes in qualifying here, so a fair bit of time to get the laps done. There's Zach Bates, and while I keep looking, multitasking here to find that photo, we'll look at Zach Bates here as he comes down to complete a lap. We noted on the previous lap that he must have touched a fence or had an off-track. We're going to see now if he can actually bring it home here and come across the line and put a time down, because yes, we got 30 minutes here, which is a fair bit of time, but it goes quickly. Well, like I said, with that 2.5 minute out lap or so, it's really important that you do lock in a time nice and early, and then run on and try and keep improving as you go. But plenty of things happening, and we're going to have some more chats. Hopefully we can get So we've got Thomas Sargent. Let's have a look at him. I'm just going to flick through a few different drivers. Thomas out there just on his first flying lap. Now he's got a car in front. That's balked him big time. So that's cost Thomas probably a second there. He had to back right out of the throttle near the metal grate there. And unfortunately, he'll have to just cool it down now and start again shortly for another lap. So just have a listen to Thomas down through the S's here after Skyline. Just have a listen to the way he attacks this. In fact, he's backed right off now. So Cooper Allen, he's just put in a purple Sector 1. So Cooper, heading up the mountain here, can he throw a challenge here to Bircher? He's looking good in Sector 1. We'll keep an eye on this. We might ride on board and just have a listen over the top of the mountain here with Cooper Allen. So all commitment through there. You can just hear the car right on the limit, right close to the fence, taking a little bit of curb either side there. He's got a car up in front. Hopefully that car doesn't need this lap at all. Nice and smooth down through the S's. Get it tucked in close to the wall once again through the dipper. The car wants to bottom out through there. There's a huge crash up ahead. He keeps into it and gets through there without, I don't think he lost. He may have lost a tenth of a second there just in hesitation. Gets it down through Forest Elbow. Now the big run down Conrod Straight. So important to get this down here, like Cody was saying before, find the way past all the bumps, because if you do hit the bumps, you lose top end speed. So it's really important to get a nice run down the straight here. And he's doing that at the moment, isn't he? He's got a purple sector and then a couple of green sectors here, so he could go somewhere near the top with this lap time. He hasn't set a time yet. There's 13 drivers that have set times in front of him, so we'll keep an eye on this as we head down towards the final couple of corners. And let's hope he can put in a good lap time here and put himself, I think, up near second position. Looking at those sector times, he should be able to put himself somewhere up there near second position. Crosses the line now, goes third, so a 2:06.8. Nice job. And I tell you what, in all my multitasking, I've managed to find that picture. So I'm going to try and drag that across here. This could look a little bit ugly for a second, but just stand by. There you go, folks, on your screen. It's all covered everything up. I apologise for that. We'll just make that a little bit smaller. But we'll just go back to Steve White here and have a look at this. So if you can just see on the top of the screen there, and I'll just try and clean that up a little bit. We'll make it bigger. And I've just quickly grabbed that out of Facebook. So Steve sent this through. This is a real photograph of his car back in the day. Just let me make that a little bit bigger for you so you can see it. And that is basically a representation of the livery he's running up there in this series. So I'll just put that down in the bottom corner. Check that out, folks. How cool is that? And there you go, Formula Renault Sports Championship 1996. And very cool to see that livery, and thanks for sending that through a few weeks ago now. It took me a little while to dig that up through my social media accounts, but I found it eventually and got it up on the screen for you. So hopefully you appreciate that. A little bit of nostalgia there for everyone watching in. So very cool indeed. At the moment, White's up there in 14th position. We've got Bircher, McHugh there. Brady's got himself up into second while we weren't watching there. He's 8/10 off the pace. So it is closing down a little bit at the front. Basically from second on, it's very close indeed. Bircher at the moment still though with an 8/10 of a second lead over everyone. So incredible at the moment that he's just got that time in the bag. Cam Hill is out on the racetrack. There's Cam. He's the 2015 Formula Ford champion. Running a very bright livery there tonight, Cam. Looking very flash indeed. And he also now looks after Thomas Sargent in the 2020 championship, and he also races in Carrera Cup. We saw him have a fantastic result back in the first round and the only round of the Carrera Cup back in Melbourne earlier in the year, or Adelaide, sorry, it was. Had a fantastic run, didn't he? So he's out there racing tonight, having a bit of fun. He'll probably find it hard to adjust to these cars on the sim, as they are very snappy little race cars if you haven't done a lot of sim seat time. And but let's see how he goes. He's a good racer. Let's hope he can have a good finish. And it's fantastic that he's just joined in as part of that community atmosphere. To see these drivers popping in and getting involved for the last round is really important. And big thanks to all these guys for showing up today, because a lot of them starting to turn their attention now to the real world racing. Some of them turning their attention to just going out and having a good time with their mates on a Saturday and Sunday. But it is fantastic that they've just committed to coming here for the final round of this eChallenge. And that also goes to, I'm sure the Formula Ford Association is really appreciative of that as well. They've committed to the 5 rounds and they've turned up for the 5 rounds. So good job. Even though the trophy has almost been won at the top, I think that we'll have to have a look at the point score later, but I know it's pretty close up the top between the top 3 or 4 drivers, and then there's quite a gap back. But they're still here racing, and that's the spirit that we want to see, because racing is so much fun, isn't it? And you can just see down through the S's now towards the dipper. Look at this. We're going to see plenty of this once we do go into the race in about 20 minutes time. And plenty of jostling, I reckon, trying to find position on the track, get into the slipstreams. Oh, big snap of the rear brakes there for Steve Willing there, and puts it into the fence. So that's something we won't want to see in the race, because it's easy to do in these cars. You snap a rear brake and they turn around very, very quickly indeed. There's Steve Cortis on the screen right now. We're right on board with him. You can just see behind, I think that might be Dave Roberts, just tucked in behind, about to go past. It is the number 4 car of Dave Roberts. Is just going to go alongside here down towards the chase. And that may impede Steve Cortis' lap a little bit here, but he's going to duck down the inside anyway. A bit of race practice there, and Dave will have to just back off a little bit. In fact, I think Steve Cortis just backs off and lets Dave go. Or are they just going to hang here together? They're just hanging together. So into the pits goes David Roberts. And probably important to practice your pit lane entry as well for the race 2 tonight. And there you go, so into the pits. And Will Liston down there in 11th spot. Ryder Quinn's made his way up into 10th. There's Ryder on the screen right now. Just about to finish another lap. Let's see what he does here. Looking at the sector times, he's done some green sectors, so he's done the sector 2 wasn't too quick, and he's gone off the racetrack there in the final sector, so a yellow sector, and that won't count. So unfortunately, with that lap as well, he'll find himself having to go again, which is unfortunate. And there you go. So I've got Kurt Bond also sending me through some more photos on via. I'm going to see if I can open those as well. That's really cool. Thank you, Kurt. They're just sending some photos through on Discord. Some more images there of Steve's car back in the day. And unfortunately, it's always a little bit clunky when I just drag them in like this, but we'll put this one up as well, because it's a pretty cool shot. You can just see there on your screen. Another fantastic shot sent through from Kurt Bond, and Kurt's a big part of this very cool series. I'm running the Formula 5000s on a Friday night, and his insight is fantastic into these the older days of racing, and obviously today as well. But how cool is that, seeing another picture there from back in the day of Steve's livery? And we'll just quickly flick across to him so you can do the comparison once again. There it is. So it is great when you see this represented. A lot of these young guys also running their current liveries or their Formula Ford cars on the race cars that they're racing in today in the virtual world. So that is cool as well, that they do get a chance to do that. And I mean, you think 10 years ago, it just wasn't possible, was it, in virtual racing to do that sort of thing? And these days, it's pretty much part and parcel with running in the virtual series and the virtual world, is that you can put your real world livery, or you can put your sponsors on there as well, which is fantastic. And it just makes it so much fun, which is really cool. There's Henry Thomas Kircher. He's running at the moment in 9th spot out on the racetrack. And let's see how he goes towards the latter part of this qualifying session. Still 15 minutes to go, so it's a good time they do get to set their lap times. A great livery on this car too. And we can see Cam Hill now starting to set a few green sectors as well, which is important. So he's finally getting himself in touch with the car. Just heard that car back off there down the main straight. So Thomas Kircher there, just a slight lift or a flat spot in that car as he heads down Conrad Straight. Now let's see how he goes down now into the chase. Possibly on an outlap here, but I can see, yes, he is on an outlap, so he's just getting prepared now to set himself up and do another flying lap here. He's currently 9th, like I said before. So you have to try and get himself now up into the top 5 if he can. As you can see up near the top there, it's 0.7 of a second lead that Birch has over Bates. And you jump back 1.2 seconds off the lead is McHugh, and then Alan Dialia, Roberts, Liston, Willing, and Thomas Kircher and Caplice now into the top 10. They're all separated by about 2.5 seconds between 1st and 10th, so a bit of time to be made up there, I'm sure. Ryder Quinn just outside the 10 in 11th, and Steve White, White Dog there in 12th position. I'm just getting some information through from Alice. Just Dave Roberts, Andrew Barron, Henry Thomas Kircher, and Steve and Todd Willing raced in the iRacing Le Mans 24 Hour 2 weeks ago in the GT40. And Todd Willing designed the car when Ford decided to relaunch it in the GT category. So that's pretty cool insight there. And they raced in the iRacing 24 Hour. And I tell you what, I've got a lot of respect for the guys that can do that. It's not easy. I've done a 12 hour myself. And the concentration level to do that in the virtual world, I can't imagine doing it in the real world. And I'm sure the screaming noise of the cars keeps you awake. But doing a virtual 24 hour race, it's incredible. And a few of my mates did it as well a couple of weeks ago. And race through the night. You sort of wake up for your segment or your series of laps that you need to do. Some of them getting up at 2-3 a.m. to run through the car, then drive for a couple of hours. And obviously the good banter that goes on in the chat while you are hanging out with your friends doing that is also pretty cool. I'm going to have a chat with Dave Roberts in a sec. He's still out there on the racetrack, and he was a champion back in the 80s. Let me see if I can just drag him in for a quick talk now. Dave, are you happy to talk to us on the broadcast while you drive, or do you want me to wait a minute?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Good. So you're doing all right out there, aren't you? You're up in 6th place. How are you finding the conditions out there? How are you finding the car around this circuit?
I hate this car.
It is
very stiff and very, very skittery under brakes, but hey, everyone's driving the same one.
That's it, mate, and it's all about having a bit of fun. It's I've had a quick drive of this car myself, and I did think it was very, very sketchy as far as how quick the rear end can go, and you don't get a lot of feeling before it does go, do you?
No.
I'll just let you go down through here, concentrating hard. That's one of the harder parts of the racetrack now. You're up there in the top 6, which is a good place to be when we go off the race start, I think, because there could be a bit of carnage, and getting through that first 3-4 corners up through the cutting is going to be ever important, isn't it?
Yeah, and the car's very, very, very loose on the cold tyres, so it's going to be hard to get a clean start around here.
Now, you're the 1988 Driver to Europe winner. Tell us a little bit about that.
That long ago, buddy.
It's not that long ago.
It is. It's 30 years.
It is, but tell us a little bit about that, because obviously that would still be fresh in your memory, though, surely.
Oh, yeah. It was great. I had a good year-long battle. Larkham, Ingle. Yeah, it was really good. Andrew Gubb, or Andrew Winton now, he was fantastic. It was a really good year, had a lot of fun.
And let us know what you're doing these days. So getting back into some real racing soon, now the COVID-19 thing's starting to ease up. Let's hope, fingers crossed, a little bit here, especially in New South Wales and Victoria. We're hoping it clears up again soon. But you're driving a Swift FB89, I'm told. Let us know what you're doing in the real world at the moment.
Yeah, I've got a historic Swift from 89. I won in 88. And I figured that if I'd stayed around, I probably would have driven the Swift for Mick Kouros in 89. So my brother-in-law and I said, let's just get into it and have a go.
Sounds fun, mate. I think...
Having done it for 30 years, I got in the car and it was pretty quick straight away. The car lives with Luke Ellery at Ellery Motorsport in Melbourne. They do a fantastic job. And I just go down a couple of times a year and have a bit of a fang.
That sounds pretty cool. And what's the difference, I guess, between it's a historic one, right, and the modern day Formula Ford?
Well, it's a Kent engine car rather than a Duratec.
Right. Much horsepower difference in that?
Yeah, fair bit.
So speaking to noobs like me, which don't know a lot about the different horsepower output, and obviously I know a fair bit about Formula Fords, and I've seen them racing all the way back from the Oran Park days when I was a kid, watching them run around there, and I've always loved the category, but I don't know a lot about the technical side of it, other than that some guys are quick, some guys are slow, and there's a big gap in between.
Yeah, it's always the case. There's fast guys and slow guys no matter what you do. A lot of guys who are fast on the real track aren't fast out here, and a lot of guys who are really quick out here are useless in a real car. So,
That's it, mate. And I see that across all the categories I run at the moment, which is an interesting fact. But now, talking about the livery on your car, as you just rotate there down through the chase and keep it off the fence, hopefully you do. The livery on the car today, that's representative of the one you ran back in 1988?
Yeah, and a red Van Diemen RF86 that was run by Mike Quinn in Sydney and sponsored by Duckham's back in the day. So I thought, do the same thing again.
Looks good, mate. It always does pop on the broadcast when I see your car, so it looks very nice. Is there any significance in the number 4?
That's the number I used to win the championship.
Very good. So I was hoping that was the case. So very good. Now you've just dropped back to 8th position there. So you've got about 8 minutes. You'll get another probably 2 or 3 flying laps in here to try and work your way up a little bit. It's pretty close there.
Doesn't really matter. The first 7 are going to crash first lap anyway.
We'll wait and see that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting times, man. So hopefully we'll get to chat to you later on. Good luck today, and thanks once again for turning up every week and being a part of this series. It's been great fun.
I missed a couple, but anyway.
Good on you, David. We'll see you soon.
Cheers. Thanks
Cheers,
a lot.
mate. See ya. That was Dave Roberts there, just having a chat as he drives around this fantastic racetrack, even in the virtual world. Isn't it just a sight to see Bathurst Mount Panorama? And Cody Birch is still topping the times there by 0.7 of a second over Zach Bates, the son of Neil Bates, and Brady McHugh there into third spot. Cooper Allen, Ryder Quinn, Benjamin Dialia, Liam Caplice, Dave Roberts, who we're also on board with now, Liam Liston and Todd Willing rounding out your top 10 drivers in qualifying. As we start to get towards the pointy end, only about 7.5 minutes to go now. About 20 horsepower difference, Alice was telling me just there on the chat, between the old school historic Formula Fords and the modern Formula Ford. So there you go. 20 horsepower in a race car of that size is a fair amount, I'd say. But looking down through a few different drivers we haven't spoken too much about, and we have about 18 cars out on the racetrack at the moment for this final one. We've got Josh Jackson there down in 15th, just trying to work his way up a little bit higher. I'm looking forward to that shot from the metal grate on the first lap. It's going to be crazy watching all the cars scream through there. And let's have a little look at Ryder Quinn, because Ryder, he's just crossing the line now in 5th. Can he improve on that lap time? Let's just see now. He doesn't, so he's going to probably start another flying lap now. That may have been an out lap. Just caught him. You can see Bircher, Bates and McHugh all on out laps now at the top. Girton and also Sargent now on an out lap, trying to knock a bit of time out of this. So it's, like I say, the pointy part of qualifying now. It's all coming down to the last few laps as Cooper Allen goes across the line in 4th and stays up there. He just does a 2:06.89, the best lap he's done so far. So still a bit of time he could find there. Benjamin Dialia, he's up the top of the mountain at the moment and running around there in 6th place, 1.8 seconds off the lead. So it's going to keep an eye on his times as he closes out this broadcast too. Or closes out the qualifying, I should say. Justin Bryce, I'm just reading a few comments there and multitasking once again. Justin Bryce saying, "Go White Dog" there on the chat. Fantastic. And Kurt, once again, big thanks, mate, for sending through those pictures. Brad Newman, pretty cool to have a 24-hour Le Mans winner in this race. And what else have we got there? So a few comments coming through now, which is fantastic to see. So thank you, everyone, being involved in the comment section of all these broadcasts we've been doing over the last sort of 9-10 weeks for the Formula Ford eChallenge. It's been great to learn your names and have your input as well. It's always great. It's like having a second set of eyes on the broadcast here as I'm watching 4 or 5 screens here, and you guys are doing a pretty good job watching your own. Now, I do have live timing. If you want to check that out, there's a link in the description for the broadcast video tonight, and on your iPad or your spare phone or whatever, you can bring up the live timing and see it live just as I do, and point out some incidents or tell me where the battles are and help me out along the way. That's always handy. As we're watching Zach Bates now trying to chase down Cody Bircher. Can he do anything here in the last 5 minutes about that lap time? Bircher's stuck down there at 2:05.5, which is super quick in one of these cars. At the moment, 0.7 of a second off the lead is Zach Bates. Let's try on board with him for a little bit over the top here and have a listen as he takes to this demanding part of the racetrack. Shout out to Tim McCroy, who's watching on Facebook. He's racing in the modern S5000 category, and they're actually racing in Bathurst in December as part of the ARG event, which will be fantastic, won't it? Just to see the S5000s go around this place. It'll be cracking once again, and it's great to see a good, fast a category like them reappearing onto the scenes here in Australia. Now, we haven't had too many interviews tonight with drivers that have gone on to big things. I know in previous weeks we've talked to the likes of Will Davison and Nick Percat, guys like that went on and did supercars. We got Steve White out there. He's done some supercars, utes. He raced in the Holden Young Lions team and stuff like that. He's raced all over Europe in different forms of open wheeler categories. But I do reiterate, I do apologise for my stuttering there, but it is amazing that this category, Formula Ford, has put through so many drivers into bigger categories, and the likes of Mark Webber. We had a word come through from him earlier on in the broadcast for this series, and we're going to also hear from an amazing driver, Will Power, later on in the broadcast, who's put together a special message just for this series and for Formula Ford for us to play on this broadcast. So big thanks to Will Power as well. So very, very cool. Jake Fourick is saying hi on Facebook. He couldn't be with us today, unfortunately, so we're missing Jake out there. He's run well in this series and unfortunately can't be racing with us today. And we've got 3.5 minutes or 3 minutes left in this quality session. It's still Bircher, Bates and McHugh up the top. Cooper Allen's back in the pits now, so I think he's probably going to park it up now and get set for the race and just take it easy for a couple of minutes here, grab himself a drink and possibly just think about his strategy up the mountain for the first time. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how they go and how they get through that first couple of corners and first couple of laps here tonight. Liam Caplice, there he is out on the racetrack. Now he's up in 8th position at the moment. Let's see how he goes in the final. I think he's just on an outlap, and Roberts is also on an outlap just behind him. So he's going to wind it up for one more shot here. And we have seen in qualifying, when it hits that 30-minute mark, you actually get cut where you are on the lap. So unlike you see in Formula 1 and many categories where you actually get to finish the lap you're on, it's a hard cut in this session tonight for the qualifying. So you've got to make sure you get your time in before that 30-minute mark is done and dusted. Great part of the circuit. Let's have a quick look at the speed of the car down through here. Up around 260 or 250 k an hour, I think it was. Just a bit late on the clip there, but yeah, you can just see down under the Armour Bridge here, just approaching 200 kilometres an hour, then hard on the brakes into Murray's Corner, making sure you don't get up onto the curb there because it will fire you off the racetrack. And let's see how Caplice goes here as he starts onto a new fastest lap now. He'll have one more shot at this. In fact, I don't think he'll get the time done with only 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. Cody Bircher's going quicker though. He's done a couple of quick sectors there. Sector 1 and 2 were purple, and the rest of the lap, unfortunately, quite slow. So he's just going to come down through here and finish Cam Hill. Where is he out on the racetrack? He hasn't set a lap time yet, so he's going to start somewhere near the back. We're just watching him now. Is he going to set a lap time in this one? He's done a couple of green sectors, and he's going to cross the line now. Does he put a lap time in? We'll wait and see. Doesn't just yet, so he won't get another shot either because that time, unfortunately, is going to round out before he gets around a lap. But great to see Cam, who's a Carrera Cup racer at the moment in the Porsche series, running out there, and big links between Formula Ford obviously and Porsche, and it's great to see a Porsche runner out there racing in this event, and obviously being the 2015 champion as well. Formula Ford, is great to have him with us today. Right, they're all starting to slow down and stop now. We are at the end of qualifying. There is Ryder Quinn. He's going to stop the car as well. Will Liston still out there on the racetrack. He's only got 40 seconds to get down Conrad into the pit lane to finish this lap. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do it. White Dog's in the green room, so we'll get a quick chat with Steve White. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Lucas. Good. Yourself?
Very good, mate. Now, I had to do a bit of digging back into my messages there, but I found your livery from back in the day, so we got to have a look at that, which was fantastic. And are you looking forward to this final event tonight?
Mate, I'm looking forward to getting back on track and assisting the Australian Formula Ford Championship, being the driver's standards advisor.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I did read out some dates before, so that's all starting to happen, isn't it? We got one very soon, in fact, in August.
Yeah, I hear there's some dates that have been put forward, and hopefully Victoria don't wreck it for the rest of Australia and we get a chance to get out there soon.
That's it, mate. Well, you better get ready. We'll chat to you later in the broadcast. Maybe come in the halfway point and we'll have another chat because we've got to get down to race number 1 now.
Okay, no worries, Lucas. You don't want to swap drops to this? You don't want to have a drive yourself?
No, I'm good, mate. My wheel's on the shelf.
All right, we'll catch you later on.
See you, buddy. Right, we'll have a chat to Steve in the break. But first of all, let's get down to the racetrack because they're already starting to grid up here. Race number 1 tonight. And the grid coming up on your screen right now, it will be Cody Bircher and Zach Bates off the front row. McHugh and Cooper Allen off the second row. Off the third row, it's going to be Ryder Quinn and Steve Cordes. Then we have Benjamin D'Alia and Will Liston running off the fourth row there. Liam Caplice and David Roberts off the fifth row. And off the sixth row tonight, Todd Willing and Henry Thomas Kircher. We'll go over the page there and just see it's Stephen White and Girton. Then you got Josh Jackson, Behavior there, Willing and Thomas Sargent down in 18th position, Alec Limmer and Race Controls out there in 20th. Not sure who that is tonight, if they're actually having a run. But no, it'll be Cameron Hill off the back of the grid. So we'll get set for a start very soon, folks. And we'll see how we go. Fingers crossed, everything crossed at the run down into turn 1 will be fantastic. So 18 drivers out there on the racetrack. Let's get set for this very, second last race of this eChallenge. And let's hope we have a good one. We're just waiting for Cody Bircher and a few other drivers to appear down there on the line. As soon as they do, we'll get the green light on and we'll get underway for this race. So We're 1 minute and 40 into staging. We get 2 minutes total to get that done. Let's get set to go racing, folks. I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully you are too. We can see down on the racetrack there, the drivers are all lined up. You'll hear the revs start to rise soon. We're just waiting for Cody. There he is on the pit straight now, getting set. The revs will rise and we'll get underway here for the second last race and the first race of the evening for the Australian Formula Ford eChallenge here from Mount Panorama, Bathurst. Revs rise. Finger starter on the button. Here we go, folks. Get set for some racing action. Green light on and we're underway. And it is Cody Bircher who gets away nicely off the start there. Our flagman waving the wrong flag there, but we're underway nicely. Bircher at the front gets a great jump over Bates and then McHugh. Look at them run through the first corner. Let's hope they all get through there cleanly. So far, so good. The big run up the straight now. And these cars, unforgiving as we were talking to some of the drivers before. Let's hope they can make it through this first couple of corners. We've got a battle in the pack here already between these drivers. Look at this. Wheel to wheel, that's D'Alia. Not with the best internet connection. He's already caught me out once tonight. We'll flick on with Caplice there and look back at Benjamin D'Alia, who is appearing and reappearing, which will really put those drivers off. There's a huge crash back in the background. Cam Hill's involved in that. He's on his side, and huge damage to Cam Hill's car. We'll go back towards the front. Birch has got away really nicely there as he heads up the mountain for the first time. We'll pause it as we go down to the metal grate and watch all the drivers come through. There we go. It's Bircher, Bates, McHugh, and Cooper Allen coming through there with Quinn hot on his tail. Cordes, D'Alia, Caplice, Liston, Roberts, Willing as well coming flying through there. So nice job. These drivers getting away well at the start of this race. We'll get all the times up on the screen for you shortly. And at the moment, Cody Bircher, 1.2 seconds in the lead. We can see a few drivers back in the pit lane, unfortunately, already. They come down through the S's for the first time. Thomas Kircher here. He's got Steve White all over his tail. Look at this great battle between these two drivers. This is for 12th and 13th position. And they've got to be patient here. You can see he runs a bit wide through there. White Dog has a look and unfortunately makes a bit of contact. That spins him around. He gets it going again. I don't think he took too much damage there, but he unfortunately spun it around. That front wing looks a little bit worse for wear. We'll have a shot from an outboard camera there. You can just see the front wing hanging off that car. He may need to pit. We'll see how he goes here, but at the front, it is Bircher there with Bates tucked in behind now. Brady is having a cracking run at him. He will ride on board with Brady. They go wheel to wheel, these two guys. Down towards Murray's for the first time. And who's going to be the latest of the late breakers here at the moment? It is Brady, who just hangs on, takes up second position, but look out, Zach Bates crosses straight back under him and takes that position straight back. So good racing there by Zach Bates. You can see how low the cars are by how much they're jumping there along the racetrack. So they're fighting hard for second position, these drivers. Let's jump into visor cam for the first time and just ride on board here and have a look. And we'll get a shot as we head up the straightaway. Look at this wheel-to-wheel action here between Bates and McHugh, who are on board with, and I think he's got the job done here up in towards turn 2. They're side by side. Oh, Zach Bates hanging on around the inside. Nice effort there. Good close racing at the front. And, these drivers doing a fantastic job to keep it clean. We can see someone in the pits there. That's there's a few different drivers. Unfortunately, Roberts is in the pits, so something happened with him at the start too. So a few issues down through the course of the first lap there, but that is to be expected here at Mount Panorama. And like I said earlier, the walls are very, very, very unforgiving as these cars tackle their way around here. Oh, look at that smoke. That's still D'Alia, I think it is, who's got that internet that drops in and out. You will see that net code, and then when the car reappears, it lets off a big cloud of smoke, which can be so off-putting to the likes of Liam Caplice, who's tucked in behind. You got Will Liston also just in there behind in 9th position, and Todd Willing running out your top 10. There's a good battle here with Josh Jackson now hot on the tail of Thomas Sargent, who's up 6 positions there into 12th. So Thomas has had a good run here, hasn't he, in the first part of this race. We are doing 13 laps around here, or 30 minutes, whichever comes first. So we're on lap 2 of 13 at the moment. Josh Jackson is doing everything right to try and chase down Thomas Sargent. So both these guys moving well through the field. And we've got Girton just up ahead. He's also up 3 spots. Todd Willing up 1 spot. Got a great battle up ahead as well between these guys. It's D'Alia and Cordes. Off the racetrack was Liam Caplice there. Comes back on. You can see him going wheel to wheel here with Steve Cordes. And as Liston now gets a run through down the inside into Murray's corner. Good job. Moves himself now up into 8th position. He'll fight back though. So Will Liston, nice effort. Looking out the back of his car now. And you can just see he's managed to go, well, he's wheel-to-wheel here once again with Liam Caplice. And Caplice is going to have to tuck in behind, is he? No, Caplice gets in front. So looking out the back there, you can see Will Liston 2/10 off the tail, and he'll have a good run up the mountain here. He should be able to get past up near the top, but already smart driving there by Caplice to hang to the inside. Going a bit defensive there, moves across. I'll go wheel-to-wheel here. Let's see if Caplice can hang it. Around there, he does. So it's Liston who's moved back up into 8th position. These guys having a great ding-dong here. Now Steve Willing and Tom Sargent. This is back in 13th position now. Thomas Sargent just getting himself back up into 13th after I think he was passed earlier in the lap. So Steve Willing will just tuck him behind up towards the cutting. Watch this, folks. Hard on the brakes here. This is one part of the racetrack where these cars get all out of shape very, very quickly if you're not careful. So they're being quite cautious there up through the cutting, and then as we head up through Quarry up towards Reed Park, power down over this fantastic part of the racetrack here. That metal grate, power foot to the floor through there, and using all the racetrack is Thomas Sargent just up ahead there of Steve Willing. Oh, and he's off the racetrack, huge into the fence. That's a huge accident for Thomas. Unfortunately, I think he just touched the inside curb there, or did he touch the wall even? But that's a huge smash for Thomas. We'll go back and have a quick look at that on the replay. But that's cost him big time. In fact, he'll probably be out of the race with that. He'll have to reset to the pits with that amount of damage. Let's have a quick look at a replay. Thanks to Yokohama. Let's see if we can work out what happened there. We're right on board with him. Did he touch the inside fence? He did. He touched the inside fence. So he hit a bit of curb, hit the fence, and that's a huge incident into the wall for Tom Sargent. So not really anything, anyone to blame there. He's just unfortunately misjudged the entry to the corner. Watch this again. Into the fence and all over Red Rover. Heaps of damage to his car, and unfortunately he'll reset to the pits and have to start that one again. Well, let's go back to live shots here. Let's check out our race leader. It is Cody Bircher, way up ahead, 6.2 seconds the lead. You can actually see Zach Bates coming around turn 1 in the background there. That is the gap between first and second. Cooper Allen tucked in behind us, pretty close once you get to second. Third and fourth all nice and close together. We're right on board here with this man, Brady McHugh. He's chasing down Cooper Allen up the hill once again. Let's jump into visor cam and have a look from his perspective. You can just see tucking it through turn 2. Trying to get right up onto the back now of Cooper Allen, who's been quick and consistent through this quick left-hander. Then hard on the brakes, trying to just make sure you don't get that rear end rotating around. Then up through here, really careful over the bump right there, but you don't loop the car around as well. So it's probably doing a slight lift through there. Then we head through this really fast, risky part of the circuit through here. And you can just see hot on the tail of Cooper Allen, not letting him get away. In fact, he's going to have to back out of the throttle a bit here and just be patient, because really it's one at a time through here. You don't want to try and send it down the inside at Skyline or through the S's here. You'll just create issues for both drivers. So it keeps it nice and clean down through there, through the dipper. This car will bottom out through there, and then hard down through this next little section towards Forest Elbow. And he should just be patient now and wait for the big run, as there's a bit of a lock up there for Cooper in front. Big run now down the main straight. So here we go, folks, as we head off down towards the chase. And it is a long run, 1.9 kilometres down here. Tucks into the slipstream. Let's see if you can get the job done. Side by side now. Can Allen hang on here? He's gone to the inside. There you go. He's gone defensive, but that'll give Brady the inside for the next corner, and he gets through. So up into third place is Brady McHugh. Fantastic effort there. You can see Cooper Allen just in the background. He'll fire back, don't you worry. He'll be hot onto the tail of him as we head down into Murray's to start another lap here. So nice racing between those drivers. Benjamin Diallo also having a good battle here with Steve Cordes. This is for 6th and 7th position. Then we got Will Liston having a good run here with Liam Caplice back for 8th and 9th. So some good battles throughout the field. And then it spreads out a little bit as we go further back in the race. So at the moment, let's just recap. It's Bircher, Bates, McHugh. That's your top 3. Cooper Allen, Ryder Quinn, and Steve Cordes, Benjamin Dialia, Liam Caplice, and Will Liston, Todd Willing, rounding out your top 10 drivers out there on the racetrack at the moment. Now here's Henry Thomas Kircher. He's chasing down Joshua Jackson at the moment. So this is way back in 13th and 14th position. We're just getting a shot here from on board, and we'll have a look at the run side by side up the straight here. We're getting a good look there. Thanks, Mum, on the side of that car for Henry Thomas Kirchhoff. That's a nice little addition to his livery tonight. And he moves himself up now into 13th position. So he's got about 4 seconds he'll have to chase down to get up where Steve Willing is in 12th spot. But I'm sure he can have a crack at that if he just continues to put in these consistent lap times. Speaking of lap times, let's have a look at the last laps that were put down for these drivers, and you can have a look now on the screen. A 2:06.2 was Bircher at the front, 2:06.7 for Bates, a 2:06.5 for McHugh, 2:08.2 for Allen. He was in that battle though with McHugh on the previous lap. And a 2:07.8, 2:07.6 for Cordes, a 2:07.5 for D'Alia. So they're all pretty even up the top there. The 2:07s, 2:06s, but at the moment Bircher is in a class of his own as he continues to eke out that gap. It's now out to 6.2 seconds. He's got, I think it's Cam Hill just tucked in behind, so Cam's down a lap unfortunately with that incident on lap 1. We might try and even go back and have a quick look at the start and see what happens. So this is right at the start of the race, folks. Going up the hill for the first time. Check this out. We're right on board with Lewis. Now, did it happen to him or no? So he lost the tail end there. Now watch this. He sort of parked it on the track there. Cam Hill nowhere to go into the side of him. We'll take it back and have a look. So really unfortunate. Cam, he came in late to this session, and I think he may have just been hanging back a little bit, making sure he kept out of trouble at the start. And this is what happens. He comes through, just minding his own business, going pretty slow there at the back there. And he comes around this corner to find a car across the racetrack. Nowhere to go. And check this out. All crossed up. Whooshka. Unfortunately, that's why Cam is down a lap. And really unfortunate for him because although he doesn't do a lot of sim racing, he's definitely a really quick driver in the real world. And it would have been great to see him racing up near the front in this one. Let's go back to live. And that clears up what happened on lap 1. There's Zach Bates on your screen now as he heads up the hill. He's heading up there about a second and a half now ahead of Brady McHugh, so he's managed to get that gap out a little bit now. Benjamin D'Alia still having a good battle here with Steve Cordes. This is for position 6. D'Alia still not the best, sharpest internet connection out there. Now Cordes is carrying our webcam tonight. There he is, so just getting a look at his feed as well, live via Twitch. So if you want to open up another browser on your window there and check out his live feed, you'll see that his point of view, which is pretty cool. So looking back from his car and then also seeing his Twitch cam running at the moment. So a lot of these drivers these days choose to run a Twitch stream and that sort of thing, which is fantastic because in this day and age it's part of your social media campaign, isn't it, to have that sort of stuff and build your profile online. So good to see them doing that. I know Jake Foraker, who's not with us tonight, also runs that sort of thing, and a few of the other drivers as well running their Twitch feeds. Jake Donaldson's another one. I don't think he's with us either tonight, so Jake, g'day to the Jakes. And they're all out there missing the race tonight, but we've got Bircher at the front, 8 seconds the gap. Then it's Bates, McHugh, Allen, Quinn, Cordes who's on your screen with D'Alia just behind him. Then we've got a battle back here with Dave Roberts. He's chasing down Josh Jackson now, so let's see. I know Dave, he's a little bit off his pace from earlier on, but his best time at the moment is a 2:07.2 in this race, and Jackson in front of 2:09.2. So I think Dave's going to quickly get past Jackson here as he does, going down Conrod. And you can just see there, puts him behind him, so that moves Roberts up into 12th spot now. As they come down into the chase, fastest part of the racetrack. These cars all wound up to top speed. And you just see now Roberts moving his way up. He's got about 6 seconds to catch this man now, Steve Willing, who's up in 11th. Then Kyle Girton is just up the road. There he is, starting another lap in 10th. So fair bit of work to do for Dave Roberts if he wants to get himself up into the top 10 for this first race. Remember, it is a reverse top 10 for race number 2. So if you can get yourself into 10th place, that's a fantastic place to be when it goes to starting the second race. Ryder Quinn is doing a good job tonight, isn't he? 5th position. There he is. He's a young Kiwi driver. And at the moment, he's running up there in the top 5. He's got a gap of about 3 seconds to Cooper Allen in front. He's got to try and chase down. And Benjamin D'Alia just behind him, 2.9 seconds. So last lap around there for Ben, it was a 2:08.9. So he's dropped about a second off on that last lap alone behind Ryder Quinn. So Quinn doing a nice job. I tell you what, though, Cooper Allen in front of Quinn, done a 2:06.3 on the last lap around. So that's super quick, isn't it? That's quicker than both the guys in front of him. There he is. So he's starting to catch up to Brady McHugh now. He'll be in the slipstream this time as we head down Conrod. He'll just start to get a bit of a tow off the back of McHugh, who's in front. He's got Cam Hill out of place there as well. just up the road. So you can see McHugh, he's in the slipstream with Cam Hill. Zach Bates is a fair way then up the road from those two, but there is Bates there on your screen. There's Hill out of position with Cooper Allen. You can just see Ryder Quinn at the top of the hill as well, coming down to chase onto the back of this pack. So fair bit happening as McHugh there hangs onto it. He's got to try and chase down this man now. So Zach Bates, I don't think anyone's going to catch Cody Birchett. He's absolutely checked out at the front. There he is on lap 8 of 13 in this first one tonight. We've got a few cars in the pit lane. But Birchett at the moment for Synergy Motorsport doing everything right. He'll be happy. His sponsors will be happy. At the moment, we'll give him a bit of airtime as he heads up the mountain to start lap 8 of 13. 15 minutes in, so we should go 2 laps here. It won't go time certain, which is a good thing. Now we'll get to see them right through to the end of the race. Now, Tom Sargent, he's had another crash, has he? I'm just going to check this out on a replay. Just came up with a notification. Let's see what's happened to Tom here. This is possibly when he already had damage coming down, trying to get it back to the pits, and yeah, it was in all sorts, that car. So unfortunate for Thomas, not having the best afternoon. I think he probably will reset it there back to the pits. So yeah, just not having the best evening, Thomas. Let's hope he bounces back in race number 2 though. There's Steve Cortis on your screen. He's running in 6th places. Oh, there's someone around. Is that? Oh, there's a huge crash there for Cortis. In fact, he's up on, he's in all sorts, and you can just see on his Twitch cam there, he had nowhere to go. We'll take that back and have a look at a replay. But I think it was Ryder Quinn that spun around just in front. Let's have a look on the replay now. And he was doing so well. He was in 5th position. He's lost it into the cutting, I think. So here is Ryder. Check this out on the replay. So just going into the cutting, gets on the power and loops it round. Oh, tank slaps it back into the fence. So there you go. Just caught out by the snap of these cars. Then wait for the next driver to come in. It was Cortis. Oh, one car does Diali getting through cleanly. Cortis tried to get through, but then went up on the fence, and unfortunately, that's a big incident for all those drivers. And wow, we'll go back to live shots here. You can see it's Cody Birchett. There's Zach Bates. Back live, 8 seconds the gap between the top two. McHugh's back about another 3 seconds off the back of Bates, as you can see him come down into the chase. Cooper Allen is closing that gap down. Like I said before, his last lap was pretty competitive, and it was exactly the same, in fact, as McHugh in front. But with a 2:07.37 for Brady and a 2:07.17 for Cooper. So he's consistently quicker. If we bring up the lap chart, we should be able to just see those differences between Cooper and McHugh. You can see he's a fair bit quicker on lap 6 and 7. Lap 6 especially, 0.8 of a second quicker. But on lap 8 there, just a little bit slower. So he lost a bit of time somewhere there on the racetrack. Possibly to do with, no, I think he was in front, wasn't he, of Ryder Quinn, who had that incident. So we'll keep with it. We'll see how they go. There's still 4 laps to go in this race. At the moment, though, this is the closest battle we got on the racetrack. It is Steve Willing chasing down Henry Thomas Kircher for 10th position and the final position in the top 10. When we go to that reverse grid second race, it's important to be there. So let's see who's going to win this little battle at the moment. Willing on the last lap did a 2:14.08, so about 6 seconds off the pace of Thomas in front. So Thomas Kircher, I should say. So there you go, Thomas Kircher working his way up the road. You can see Dave Roberts just up ahead in 9th position. Kyle Girton up ahead of him, just heading up the mountain. He's just going through the cutting now in 8th, and Todd Willing even further up the road, just heading up towards Reed Park. He's currently in 7th position, having a good run indeed. These cars sound and they look great across the top of the mountain. They definitely make up their time between the cutting and Forest Elbow. They're incredibly quick through there, and we're seeing lap times, only 2 or 3 seconds off what a supercar does around here, which is incredible considering the straight line speed and up the mountain speed. These cars just do not have anywhere near the grunt that we see in the supercars. Once again, a big thanks to the Formula Ford Association for putting on these events. It's been great fun, hasn't it? 5 different rounds of this Formula Ford eChallenge, and concluding tonight at Bathurst Mount Panorama. We've seen some great circuits. Monza, Silverstone, obviously Phillip Island was a fantastic way to kick off, and Laguna Seca as well. It's just been great to see different parts of the world, and all these drivers in the same kit, fixed setup racing, so they've all got the same gear under their right foot and between their arms, and it's been great to see how they've tackled it. It's not the easiest car to drive, this Formula Renault, but they've managed to at least get out there and have a bit of fun, which is great. Now Cooper Allen now, he is right up on the back of Brady. We knew this was coming. He's quick. He's going to have a look. You can see Brady just going around. He leaves him a car width, which is good. They're going to go wheel to wheel here up towards turn 2. So through Griffins, they're going to get through there nice and cleanly, which is good. In fact, I think Brady just backed out of the throttle at the last minute there and made sure there was not too much to worry about for Cooper. Cooper will fight forward, and he's got the lap times under his belt at the moment. He's about a second quicker on the previous lap. And you can just see Willie start to pull away now from Brady McHugh in position 4, who's already dropped about 3/10 behind him. So it'll be important on this lap to run through here and see if he can stay with him at least until we go through Forest Elbow, and then try and get a run, get that position back and grab those valuable points with only 3 laps to go in this one. Heaps of people on the chat saying go White Dog, look after the rig, says Peter. So it's good to see some shout outs to some of the drivers out there as well. Still coming in via the Facebook. And like I say, it's a smaller grid tonight, only 18 or 19 drivers out there, but we got some quality races and fantastic effort for them rocking up to the final event here tonight. And I'm sure the Formula Ford Association appreciates that, and we all appreciate it. Everyone watching. I know a lot of the people on Lucas Esports that tune in for this, just from our organic fans that watch all our series, really love this and love tuning in each week to see these races. Brady gets back in front. They're going to go wheel to wheel, these guys. Cooper Allen, he's like, oh, you're not taking that position back. He crisscrosses. Does he get the job done? Can he get a stop, though? That's the thing. Is he going to take to the grass? No, he does it. Cooper Allen with a fantastic fight back there into the chase and managed to somehow grab the position back. They're going to go wheel to wheel down into Murray's once again. This is a great battle, isn't it? We're right on board here with Brady in position 4. They're going to go wheel to wheel along the pit straight once again. Cooper Allen goes defensive, and this is fantastic. This is what we see in the real world racing between these competitors in Formula Ford, and this is what we're seeing now in the virtual world as they go head to head once again up Mountain Straight. We've got a car up ahead. That's Cortis, who's a lap down, unfortunately. Look how close they are. It feels like there's not much space out there. He's going to leave a gap. They're going to go 3 wide as they get past Cortis. Nice driving by Brady. I've got to give him a shout out there because he could have easily squeezed Cooper Allen and made sure Cooper had nowhere to go, but he moved across, made sure there was a gap of at least a car width between Cortis and himself, and Cooper Allen could still run side by side. So good driving by all those guys there. Also Steve for getting across to the left hand side of the racetrack, making sure those drivers could get through. So fantastic effort by all involved. And we head up there. Cooper Allen's got himself back into 3rd, but for how long? This race is really on for the final step of the podium. This is great to watch, isn't it? Now we're right back on board with Brady. This is for position 3, final step of the podium at the moment. Cooper Allen, he's doing everything. Every time he gets overtaken, he snaps straight back, gets the position back. The heart rate will be up for these guys. They come down through the S's, drop it down through the dipper once again. There'll be 2 more laps after this one. And at the moment, Bircher way out in front. Bates fair way out in front as well. He's about 7 seconds up the road from Allen. And it's going to be these guys fighting it out for the last step of the podium. As once again, watch this down the straight. We'll get a bird's eye perspective here as Cooper moves himself across to the right-hand side of the track, just breaking the toe here, which is something we see in Formula 4. They dice around a bit. They move around the racetrack, trying to break that aerodynamic advantage for the car, chasing down behind. He's going to get a good pass here. Once again, down into the kink, into the chase. Wheel to wheel here. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? Once again, Cooper Allen. He's got the brake pedal nicely working for him today. He gets that car back into 3rd position, and he'll be defensive once again down into Murray's. You see him stay to the left-hand side of the racetrack, which will compromise his exit a little bit through here. You can see, look at, in fact, there's a bit of a touch there. Unfortunately, they've made some contact, and he escorts him into the fence, and that's going to help out D'Alia, who's going to come flying through there with Cameron Hill. And I think Brady, he's probably pretty disappointed there because I don't think it was his fault. I think Cooper actually lost the rear end into the corner. We'll go and have a quick look at the replay. But you'll see from Cooper's perspective, he definitely lit it up on corner exit. And watch this. So riding on board with Cooper, I think he lost the rear end. We'll take it back and have another look. In fact, we might go to the chopper cam and check it out from up there. But here we go. So down to the final corner. We'll just try and go up to the helicopter cam. And we'll zoom it right in for you. So you can just see as they was there a bit of contact there. Cooper just losing the rear end, I think slightly, but maybe a slight touch from behind as well, which unfortunately sent him around, and then the contact was made. And big impact in the end as they both went into the fence there. And then obviously, Cooper's managed to keep the car running. He's fallen back to 4th place, but Brady's back in 6th now as we go back to live shots. So really unfortunate there for those drivers. They're having such a good scrap, lap after lap, wheel-to-wheel racing. Only 2 laps to go in this one. I'm sure Brady will bounce back for the next one, but there he is. He's dropped a fair way back now, isn't he? He's 31 seconds off the lead. Cooper's 26 seconds off the lead, so he's lost about 6 or 7 seconds there. In fact, probably more if you actually count the time that he lost between Bates and where he is now. He's lost a fair bit more. So D'Elia has been gifted a 3rd place there. And although Cooper Allen, I tell you what, the gap's only half a second, so he may still chase down D'Elia here. I know his lap times are about a second quicker overall is the best lap time for Cooper Allen as opposed to Benjamin D'Elia, but he could be carrying a fair bit of front end damage. I'm just having a look now. I think there's a slight bend on the front wing as Cody Bircher now starts his final lap. We get the white flag out. And here we go. So looking down into the chase, we have a move here. No, not close enough yet. You can see the left-hand front end plate of that front wing is definitely damaged. It's pointing in. That will be giving him a bit of a aerodynamic disadvantage on the car, but he's pretty quick. He may still be able to get this final place from D'Elia, who's just in front. Right on board once again with Cooper Allen chasing him down. This is the closest battle we've got on the racetrack. It's for the podium. But we'll see how we go here. Oh, was there a touch there as well? I'm not sure. Oh, once again, into the fence. Where's McHugh in all this? Here he comes. He's going to go, oh, no, they're in the fence again, these guys. He's going to get back past D'Elia. He will go to the left-hand side. Will he catch Cooper, who's missing more parts off that car up ahead now? So McHugh back into 4th place. Cooper Allen hangs on to 3rd for the podium. But there's definitely some contact there. I think once again, though, D'Elia might have just got it sideways and checked up a bit, and Cooper's just made a bit of contact at the back. But here's your race winner. Let's give him some airtime. At the moment, Cody Bircher, half a lap to go, just heading down through the S's for the last time. 10 seconds to lead. Nothing to be worried about now for him. He could back right off and still bring this home. Right on board with him down through Forest Elbow for the last time. And he'll be pretty happy with this. I think points in the bag and good setting up for going into race 2, which will be the final race of this series. So stick around, we'll have a short break and we'll get those great words coming through from Will Power as well. Great Australian that's now racing in the Indy cars over in the States. Sent us a special message tonight to play during the break. And great win this will be for Cody Bircher for Synergy Motorsport as he comes down through the chase for the final time. And we do have one more race straight after this, so don't go anywhere. It's going to be fantastic. So Cody Bircher, Tony Lamb, he's going to be really happy with this. The sponsorship on that car, he's going to bring it home, cross the line now. The checker flag's going to drop. And there you go, your race winner for race number 1 tonight. And our second last race of the eChallenge is Cody Bircher. Zach Bates is going to bring it home. There he is, crossing the line now in 2nd position. And Cooper Allen, he's a fair way back there. He's just coming down into the chase now with Brady McHugh, of all people, back on his tail. So these guys, they're battling to the end still, so somehow they've managed to still get back together after the incidents they've been in. Who's going to win this one for the final step of the podium? Cooper Allen goes defensive down the inside. It's going to be neck and neck through the final corner. They come out of there wheel to wheel, and it looks like Cooper Allen's going to just cross the line as McHugh hits the fence big time in the background and unfortunately finishes in 4th position. But boy, he tried hard to get that final step of the podium there. So good racing throughout. We'll bring up the final results for you very soon, and then we have a short break. We'll bring in some cool messages through to you, and we do it for our final round of this eChallenge. It's a nice day out there at Bathurst, Mount Panorama, one of the best circuits in the world. Our favourite circuit in Australia. It's great to see these cars battling it out here for the final time tonight, this Formula Ford eChallenge, and Cody Bircher is the victor in this first race of 2. And I tell you what, the second one, reverse top 10, will be very interesting to see if he can get through the positions and not get involved in an incident like we saw in race 1 for a few of those drivers up through the cutting there, and especially up through turn 1 and turn 2. Griffin's Bend turn 2 especially was a pinch point in race number 1. We'll get those full results for you as soon as iRacing allows us to show them. And right now, just enjoy our race winner, bring it back towards the podium. And he's there with Zach Bates as well, and both these drivers. In fact, I think they're going for the jump, are they? This is interesting to see. Oh, look at this. And it just cuts them out. I'm sure we'll see that at the end of the race as well tonight. So, bit of fun. As always, good to see, and we'll get those results for you up on the screen right now for race number 1. Cody Burchard by a long margin there, almost 10 seconds over Zach Bates. Cooper Allen coming home in 3rd. Brady McHugh just behind him. Look at that, only 0.2 of a second in 4th. Then it was Kyle Gurton coming home there in 5th. Dave Roberts, nice position in 6th. Benjamin Diallo in 7th, with Steve Willing there up into 8th position. Henry Thomas Kircher in 9th. Todd Willing in 10th. And you had Liam Caplice, Ryder Quinn, Cameron Hill, Steve Cortis, Joshua Jackson, Thomas Sargent, Stephen White in 17th, and Will Liston down in 18th position. And I think there's one more driver, our 19th driver, Lewis Behager there, finishing down in 19th, and Alex Limmer as well. So 20 drivers out there tonight, finishing in 20th spot, unfortunately. Didn't start the race though, so there you go. There are your results for race number 1. We'll have a chance to talk to a few of these drivers in a sec. First of all, get our top 3 in. So it's Cody Burchard. Congratulations there. I'll just get rid of the music so we can talk to you, mate. Good job winning race number 1 tonight.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, it was pretty smooth sailing for me. Obviously, you're not going to complain like that. I guess once the car was a bit of a handful at the start, but once the tyres warm up and you start to get a bit more used to it, it's pretty on point, and it's actually pretty on rails in the high speed stuff.
Yeah, good job. And Zach coming home in 2nd there, nearly 10 seconds off the lead, but good job, man. You pretty much had a bit of a solo race back there in 2nd, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I'm the one complaining here because I have no idea why I'm so far off. But anyway, yeah, it was good. I had a little bit of a battle with Brady McHugh, I think it was, at the start, and then I just fought back a little bit, and I just cleared them. So yeah, it was a good race for me. It was a little disappointing I was that far off the lead, but yeah, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, for sure, mate. And I saw you guys going for the jump at the down at the chase there at the end there. Unfortunately, it cut us out as it put us through to the break. But we might see a bit of that shenanigans at the end of the broadcast, I'm sure.
100%.
That's it. I look forward to that. Make the highlight reel. But good job, guys. We'll chat to you afterwards. And good luck in the second race tonight. And Cody and Zach both probably stick around at the end of the broadcast too, because we'll probably bring in a lot of people and just wrap it all up with a big group chat.
Yep. No,
all right.
no worries.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Thanks,
We'll chat to them a bit later on. I'm going to bring Steve White in for another chat. Steve, how you going, buddy?
Yeah, good, Lucas. Yourself?
Good, mate. Now you're in the wars a bit in that one. It was a pretty tough first race tonight.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of laps leading up to this event, and it shows more than normal my pace. So I just thought it'd be easier just to step out and watch it and watch your telecast.
Oh, mate, you should have come into the broadcast booth and had a talk with me.
Yeah, that could have been something we could have done.
But no, it's good fun out there, and man, it's great to see you out there racing that historic livery, if I can call it that. It's very cool.
Yeah, it is that now, isn't it? Like, it dates back to 1996, and some of these drivers out here weren't even born back then.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We're going to have a message from Will Power now, which is pretty cool. Have you ever met Will?
Yeah, I have. I actually had the chance of spending some time with him in 2008 when I was in the States, and it was his first year of IndyCar, I think.
Very cool. So, yeah, that's good. He sent a message across to Formula Ford for this event, so I'm going to quickly play that now. Good luck, man. Stick around at the end of the broadcast, and if you end up having a crash or you do back out during the race, just jump in here and we'll have a talk during the second race as well.
All right, no worries.
Be good to have your insight. So, yeah, good luck, Steve, and we'll chat to you later on. That was Stephen White. We're just having a look at him go around in that car, and as he just said before, he had a chance to run and get to know Will Power back in the day. So we're going to get that interview up on the screen for you now. And a big thanks to Will for putting this through to us for this final event of this Formula Ford Australian eChallenge. And here it is, so Mr. Will Power.
Hey guys, my name's Will Power, and I raced Formula Ford in 2000 and 2001 in the National Series. I'm now racing in IndyCar over in the US. I have to say I had a lot of fun in Formula Ford. I did a lot of Formula Ford racing between the National Series and the State Series. I actually learned a lot about a race car because I worked on my own car, I did all the wheel alignments, actually rebuilt the whole car myself. At one point, did all the engine changes myself, all the gear ratios, everything, and it gave me a really good understanding of how a whole race car works. And I think Formula 4 was such a great category, or is such a great category, because you don't have wings. It's actually not even a slick tire when we were racing. I'm not sure what it is now. And so you really learned how to get the most and set the car up around just mechanical balance. So I think that's good for car control and just understanding an open wheel car. It was quite simple to set up. You know, you didn't really do big spring changes or anything like that. And the racing was super close. It was really enjoyable. 2001 was my last year of Formula Ford racing. I raced, Will Davison won the championship that year. I was second and Jamie Whincup was third. Will and I had some phenomenal battles all year long. Jamie was always right there too. It was just his first year, so he was obviously super good straight out of the box. And yeah, that was, I have to say, it's one of the most important years of my career, my motorsport career. When I think back, I had so much fun. It was just Peter Verheying was running the car. We'd fly him in for the races, and it was my dad and a good friend of mine, and we ran the car ourselves and had a lot of fun. Right now, I'm actually at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, about to do our second race of the season. Obviously, it's been very difficult this year with the pandemic, the COVID-19 deal, and we've got no fans this weekend. It's kind of unfortunate because it's the first time IndyCar and NASCAR are having a triple header, actually, because they've got two NASCAR series, Xfinity and the Cup Series and IndyCar. So looking forward to having a great weekend, and can't wait to get the series started. We're actually doing 5 races in 14 days, so we've got two double headers after this. So it's a pretty busy time for me, but thought I'd give you guys a bit of insight into my career, which started pretty much, we say, obviously started in go-karts, but Formula 4 was a huge part of developing me as a driver. Learned a lot about the car. The competition was always tough, the racing was tough, and I think it's a very important stepping stone as in the ladder to really anywhere, whether it's V8 supercar you want to go to, Formula 1, IndyCar. You certainly take a lot away from Formula 4. So hope you guys enjoy your final round of the e-racing, and look forward to watching it. Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, so great words there from Will Power from the US of A, and thanks, obviously, Australian living over there, racing cars, doing a fantastic job representing our country, and yeah, he's just a good top bloke. So thanks for sending that message through for our final round tonight of this Australian Formula Ford eChallenge. And we don't have Dave Roberts out there on the racetrack, but I've got to say a big thanks once again to Kurt Bond. He's just sent through another picture, which I'm going to load in this way. It's a little bit. Let me just see if I can resize this quickly to fit the screen once again. But check this out. This is from back in the day. And you've got, I think it's Larko there with him as well. And how cool is that, folks, just to see. So just try and fit this to the screen. There we go. So classic image there, and it shows the number 4 for Dave Roberts there back in real life, winning that championship and winning the race, and shows the livery that he's running also in tonight's event. So very cool indeed. And we'll hopefully see him back out there on the track any second now as we get set to go into race number 2 for this evening and the final race as well. And it was Russell Ingall too on the left hand side. Alice just pointed out. Thanks, Alice. So very cool. You can see that livery. So there's Rusty on the left, and Dave Roberts in the middle, and Larkham there on the right. So can we pick any of the faces in the background there, the officials? Isn't that a great old shot too? Is that at just trying to pick the racetrack there. Someone with a keen eye can let me know where that racetrack is. It's very changed from wherever it is today, if that's still around, but Let's see who's the quickest in the chat to let me know where that racetrack is. What a great shot. So thanks again, Kurt Bond there. Hot on the Googling, or maybe it's part of his personal collection of photographs, but that's fantastic, isn't it? As someone's in the pit lane absolutely doing a humongous burnout. I'm just trying to see who that is. There's some shenanigans happening down there. That's, I think that was actually Thomas Sargent, was it? No, it wasn't. It was, anyway, doesn't matter. We're going to the grid. Here we are for our final race. Let's get it underway. This is going to be fantastic. Looking forward to it. Race number 2. So it was Adelaide International Raceway, says Kurt Bond. Thanks very much again. And, appreciate that. Let's get down to the grid, though, because we are getting set for this final race of this eChallenge off the front row. It's going to be, in fact, it looks like a full reverse grid I'm just seeing now. So this is interesting indeed as they're lining up. It's going to be Limmer, Behager there off the front row with Liston and Steve White off the second row. Sargent and Jackson off the third row, Cordes and Cameron Hill running off the fourth row. Ryder Quinn and Caplice running off the fifth row. Willing and Thomas Kircher off the sixth row. Go over the page there, it's going to be Steve Willing and Benjamin Dialli off the seventh row with David Roberts and Carl Girton running off the eighth row. Brady McHugh, Cooper Allen, Zach Bates and Cody Bircher rounding out your drivers. Down in 20th spot there for this final event. Let's get set to go racing. This will be fun. Let's see what the top 10 do here, because they're going to be under a lot of pressure indeed as we get the green light and we're underway there. I think we had a few drivers miss the start there. In fact, that's why we didn't get right to the end of our staging time. And I tell you what, we're underway though. And Will Liston's had a great start at the front with Steve White hot on his tail. Back in the pack, I think everyone's got through the first corner cleanly, which is always good to see. And we're all heading up the mountain for the first time. And so far, so good, folks, as they come across that hump. Look at them disappear, heading up Mountain Straight. Everyone running cleanly, wheel to wheel up there. Oh, there's some dicing in the background. Cameron Hill involved in that with Steve Cordes, who moves his way up into third. And a nice effort there. You can see Cam Hill just tucked in behind. Did everyone get through Griffin's in one piece? I think they did. Good racing here with a full reverse grid. So this is going to be hard work for the likes of Bircher and also McHugh, Cooper Allen as well. We've had a crash there. Willing's gone around. Jackson's gone around as well. So just trying to work out where that crash was. I think it was in the cutting. There they are in the fence, unfortunately. They'll get running again though, but up the top, look at them come through there. They're absolutely flying over our curb cam. There you go. You see Roberts come flying through there as well. Look at this. Great to see. At the moment, Will Liston, though, he's hanging on at the front from Steve White, who's giving him a real hot challenge on lap 1 here. It's right on board with Steve. And you can see on your screen now, Caplice just moved his way up. I think Cam Hill's gone around, has he? Let's have a look. Oh, there's a huge incident coming down the hill. That's going to be a lot of cars involved in that. Dave Roberts went into the side of a car there as well. I think they've finally got through, but the track was momentarily blocked there for a second. Somehow, I've got to say, Cody Bircher's made up 10 positions in the first half a lap, up into 10th. Cooper Allen's made up 11 positions, up into 7th. So they're moving forward, these guys. Henry Thomas Kircher's made up 7 positions into 5th. So, gee, they're running nicely down here on this lap 1 of 13, our final race tonight. Look at them jostling for position. There, that's Cody Bircher going wheel to wheel. In fact, he's got the job done now. He's up into 8th position, so he's up 12 spots already on lap 1. And we head down towards the Armour Bridge. There's Cameron Hill in the background going around, unfortunately. You can just see out of focus there. Coming to focus now. There is Cam Hill getting it back up to speed. And we've got a couple of cars off. It was Cooper Allen, I think, off the racetrack in the final corner. He's lost the whole engine cover off that car as well. So he's had a big issue down there. You can see Todd Willing about to overtake him into turn 1 as well. So we'll get to a few replays now if we can. So Henry Thomas Kircher involved in this one first of all. So he was running side by side here with Cooper Allen. Let's see if that was the reason Cooper went around as well. Down into Murray's. And I think he just outbraked himself there, and I think that may have been a bit of a touch there which sent Cooper around and off the track, and then a bit of a touch as he rejoined as well. So unfortunately, that was all happening in the back play. But at the front, Steve White leading the race. Go White Dog, he's out there in P1. Wouldn't it be great to see him come home with a win? 5.6 seconds to lead over Caplice. What's happened to Will Liston? He's dropped all the way back there to 4th. Must have had an incident on that lap, possibly ran off the track. I'll try and work that out for you in a sec. But running nicely is White, Caplice and Dialia up there in the top 3. Benjamin Dialia, he's up. Oh, look at that, bottoming out there. Was that? Oh, there's a huge crash there. That is, I'm just trying to work out who that was. Was that Liam Caplice? I think it was. That was a huge incident there over Skyline. He's going to have to eject out of that car because surely he's not going to stay there. He is going to try and flick it around. Let's hope another car doesn't appear over the top of Skyline. It does. Look out. It's, oh boy, that was Steve Cordes coming down through there, and I think he is now going to eject out of the car, unfortunately. Oh, we've got another crash. Oh, so it's all happening in the back play here. Who was that going around? So we've got big incidents down. I'm just going to try and flick back and find out who that was. And it's back in the pit, so it was Todd Willing involved in that incident as well up the top. So it's all happening. We will try and get some replays for you now. And let's have a quick look as we'll have a look at Todd Willing's crash first of all. So this was just down through the S's and down to the dipper. There's already a car off the racetrack. I think that's Bates, is it? No. I can't see because the engine cover's gone off that car, but that was that crash there, and there's, plenty of damage as other cars tried to get through. There's cars crashing out of sympathy as well. So all happening there. That was Benjamin Dialia. So it was Zach Bates that crashed as part of that as well. So go to the replay again, thanks to Yokohama. So Zach Bates, let's just go back a little bit and see where he dropped it. I think it's over Skyline, is it? It's just down through the S's. So check this out. He's right behind Bircher here. They finished 1-2 in race 1. He slowed it down. Bircher was being pretty careful there, which is the right thing to do when there's a car crashed. And Bates, unfortunately, just got involved in the incident there. Just grabbed wheels with the crash car and hits the fence quite hard. So that's plenty of damage. You can see the whole engine cover gone, the rear wing gone as well. And this is where he spun it again, and that's what caused more incident for those cars in front of him. So huge incidents happening there for all those drivers. Let's go back to live and pick up where the action is, because at the moment Steve White leading it, but I'll tell you what, he's got Cody Bircher chasing him down. So there is Steve White at the moment with a 7.3 second lead with 10 laps to go. I reckon Cody Bircher, who's in second here, he's 7.3 behind. He'll chase him down, I reckon, but let's hope Steve can manage to at least stay on the podium. I think he will. Brady McHugh's the next one up the road in third position. He's made up 14 spots. I was just about to try and say that. So he's had a cracking start to the race as well. Bircher's obviously the biggest mover in that first lap or two. He's made up 18 spots, but Brady McHugh's made up 14. Kyle Gerton's also having a good run down in 6th there. He's made up 10 spots. So unfortunately, they've all spread out a little bit here on the racetrack, but they're all running, and that's the main thing. We've managed to get most of our drivers through that carnage, and the ones that did crash it are trying to get back out onto the racetrack again to at least finish this one. Good. Now that photo was taken from Dave Roberts' Facebook, says Kurt, so that's very good. Very nice to have that. Some old images coming up on the screen for some of the drivers that are out there tonight that have, completed and accomplished so much in the real world. Right, let's try and pick up any battles. In fact, we don't have anyone within a second of each other out there on the racetrack, so let's just have a look at some of the drivers. There's Ryder Quinn, he's in 5th position. We'll put the gains up on the screen too, so you can just see who has made the most up in that first lap. As you can see, Bircher's just done a 2:06.0, quickest of anyone out there on the racetrack. In fact, 3 seconds quicker than the last lap by Steve White. So I don't think it's going to take too long for that gap to come down. It's now down to 5.4 seconds between Steve, who's leading the race, there he is, and Cody Bircher in second. So I was considering just having a talk to Steve, but I won't interrupt him while he's driving. He was chatting in the first race about how he crashed out, so he thought he'd just watch the broadcast and enjoy it that way. And I said to him in this one, hey mate, if you crash out again, jump in and have a chat. But at the moment, he's doing really well, isn't he? He's up there in P1. And I've got everything crossed for him to bring it home, have a good win tonight. But I'll tell you what, Bircher, who's in P2, is absolutely setting the timing board light out there. He's just gone purple again in Sector 3 and 4. So he's not mucking around, Cody. He's got the gap down now to 4.4 seconds. It was about 8 or 9 seconds a lap ago, so he's definitely moving quickly along. He got through that carnage well too without taking any damage, and that's so important. We saw him back off. Unfortunately, Zach got caught up in the big issues there, but tell you what, we've also got Cam Hill running in the top 10. He'll be happy with that. A late starter tonight. No practice put in for this one. He's just jumped in for a bit of fun in the final round, and he's running in the top 10, so good job, Cam Hill. I know he does a lot these days for the younger Formula Ford racers that get out there. He prepares a couple of cars and puts a lot of his experience across to those drivers, which is fantastic to see when the older guys come through to mentor the young kids coming through. So unfortunately, we have lost Dave Roberts from the race. Is he still out there running? No, he's gone completely. So we might try and get him in the green room and bring him in for a chat during the broadcast. Because we've got 8 laps to go. So if we can get him into the green room, I'll drag him in for a talk. We can discuss that Le Mans 24-hour that he competed in a couple of weeks ago, and just have a good chat with him. Because it's always great to engage with these drivers and talk about the days gone by and what's happening in the future and what they're doing. He runs the historic race car, which is great, and always good to find out new things from my perspective, and hopefully the people watching enjoy it as well. And the insight that you get from different drivers through different series on Lucas Esports is fantastic, isn't it? Looking through the comments there, go Steve, show him how it's done, says Peter Fitzgerald. Great to have you watching along, Peter. Told him he's got to finish top 10 because going to buy his rig wrapped. So there you go. So he's selling his rig by the looks of it. He's got to finish in the top 10 at the moment. P1, only by 2 seconds though. Look out, here comes Cody Bircher. And we'll just freeze the camera there. You'll see Cody there just appear like a looming shark here. He's chasing down Steve White. We'll do a couple of camera freezes here. There's one there, and watch the gap. There he is. So the gap now down under 1.5 seconds. In fact, it's 1.6 seconds, 1.5 now, as Cody's quick through this part of the racetrack, isn't he? We'll jump on board, and you can see now as he comes down towards Forest Elbow, it won't be long before he's right up onto the tail of our race leader, Stephen White. Now we're going to grab Dave Roberts in. Dave, you're live on the broadcast, mate. Unfortunately, we're talking to you too soon. You're out of the race. Are you there, Dave? Hello. We'll just have a chat with David as soon as he talks back to me. We'll engage in some conversation. But we do want to talk about the GT40 project. So, David, if you can hear me, how you going, buddy? We haven't got him yet, so I'm going to drop him back into the green room and let everyone just sort that out in the back play. Unfortunately, his mic or something's not working at the moment, so when we get a chance, we'll talk to David about the GT40 project and a few other things that's going on, but unfortunately he's out of this race, which is a sad outcome for our very final race tonight. We're halfway through it. We've done 9 races before this. This is the 5th and final round of the Australian Formula Ford eChallenge. Big thanks to the Formula Ford Association here for putting on this series and giving the drivers something to do during the COVID-19 situation. And full credit to them, because it's fantastic that they could do that and get a pass. Now this is Girton on Quinn. He's done the job, I think he has. So Ryder Quinn gets put back to 6th position. Kyle Girton moves his way up into 5th. So there he goes. He continues his way up the track. And Kyle, he's done a nice job, up 11 spots in this final race from the full reverse grid, which caught a few drivers out. Zach Bates up to 9th. Now he's running up 10 positions from where he started, but we did see him involved in that incident earlier on. All right, so we're going to have a look up the front. Here's our race leader, Steve White, still hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Right behind him is Cody Bircher. What can we do? Can we send someone around to turn the power off at Cody's house? Because I reckon he's going to be all over the back of Steve White any second now. He could make a pass, probably down into the chase, I would say. We're right on board here with Cody, and he deserves this. He's raced well. He's also putting in a lot of effort to help set this series up, and it's always good. I think he even pays for the hosting each week. So big thanks to Cody here. He's going to overtake Steve White now. They go wheel to wheel down Conrod straight into the kink, into the chase, and hard on the brakes. You can see Steve, job done, just drops in behind Cody there and is put back into 2nd position. So there you go. Cody into the lead of the race, and let's see how much of a margin he can eke out now. It was nearly 10 seconds, wasn't it, in race 1? Let's see what he can do now in race 2. Brady McHugh, he's just coming through the final corner, so he's got about a 4.5 second gap he's got to chase down to get the 2nd step of the podium at the moment from Steve White. We'll go to our SRT Australia chopper cam here. Have a look down. You can see the gap. There is Whitey just heading up Mountain Straight. You can see Cody Birch just up ahead, and the gap back to third position. There he is. So it's not a huge gap. He's closing that down lap in, lap out at the moment. And it's a fair gap back to Will Liston, who was racing so well at the start of the race. He's dropped back to fourth now, and Kyle Gurton's chasing him down pretty quick as well. Ryder Quinn, unfortunately, in the pits. Not sure what's happened there. And Josh Jackson, a fair way back too. I think he's only just starting a lap. So there he is, Josh Jackson, Steve Willing in behind him. Then Zach Bates coming down through the final corner now. So it's fairly gapped out, this race, unfortunately. But we'll get a chance to talk to a few different drivers. Unfortunately, Todd Willing is going to bed. It's 4 a.m. in the USA. So we've lost Todd. He's done well though. So big thanks to Todd Willing for being involved in the race tonight. And or staying up all night over there in the US so you could be a part of it. A fantastic job. Here's Ryder Quinn chasing down a very damaged Steve Willing. He's lost the nose off that car, so I'm not sure where that happened, but Ryder Quinn should be able to get the pass done here. They go wheel to wheel, these guys, up towards the cutting, and a big flash out the exhaust there for Ryder Quinn as he gets it through, makes his way up into 7th spot, so nice job. These cars sound fantastic, don't they, up over the hill. Full revs, getting the power to the ground. They've got some aero, unlike a Formula Ford. They've got a small wing on them. They have adjusted a lot of that wing out, I think, to make them behave a little bit more like a Formula Ford. So they slip and slide around the track a little bit, but they still have a little bit more of an aero advantage. There's Cody Birch now, still coming first by almost 5 seconds. So he's making that gap bigger and bigger. So looking at Kyle Gurton, he's running in 4th place, up 12. We've got Brady McHugh up 14 spots in 3rd. So your top 3 at the moment, Bircher, White and McHugh. All pretty well spread out, but being pretty consistent as well. The lap times at the moment, I'll put that up on the screen actually. You'll just see the last lap time around. With Bircher was a 206.3 as opposed to White's 209.8, a 207.6 for McHugh, 209.0 for Gurton, a 211 for Jackson. So I reckon McHugh will probably chase down Whitey here, but I think Steve should be able to hang on for a podium. We've got just a shout out to Chris Hodgen. He's watching on Facebook from the UK. He races Formula Fords in the UK regularly. Been to Phillip Island for the historic race meeting twice. Was a pole sitter at Phillip Island Historics this year, so that's great to have him watching. So a shout out there to Chris Hodgen. Nice to have you watching along, mate. Brock Schaefer, thank you for sending some stars through, buddy. It's fun doing this broadcast, and I appreciate that, man. That goes towards supporting my network, and it's been great through this. I guess it's a positive for me through the COVID times. We've picked up a lot of series with real race drivers, and we're doing plenty of different stuff from Formula Ford, Formula V, the Australian sports sedans. Just so many series. We did the XL series for New South Wales and Victoria as well. We've got a Porsche Cup happening at the moment, so it's just so many things going on. Now we've got this Formula 5000 series as well, which features a lot of the historic Formula 5000 liveries and drivers, and a lot of guys from the Sports Sedan series doing that as well. So for me, the COVID-19 period and picking up this sim racing broadcast has been fantastic. But obviously it's been really hard for a lot of people, and also for our racers that haven't been able to get out there into their race cars. Shout out to you, Brock, and thanks for your support. And I put all that hopefully back into the network and try and just get better and better at what we do here. It is a one-man show. I do all the cameras, the talking, and all that all by myself. And I do appreciate the support I get through from the chat live on Facebook. It makes it feel a little bit less lonely, if that makes sense. Right, we are into lap 9 of 13. And as we head around, 7 seconds the gap between Bircher and White. The gap now to McHugh is closing down. Look at this on your screen. You can see in the background there. That is Steve White coming through with Brady McHugh starting to really, really hunt him down for that second step of the podium. So Steve Whitey, I reckon he'll finish on the 3rd step of the podium here, which will be fantastic in the final race. Just has to keep it clean. We're right on board here with Brady McHugh. And I think by the time we get across the top of the mountain here, he'll be hot on his tail here. This has been a good drive by Brady to come through the field. 14 positions he's made up. Is 19 positions for Cody Bircher, who came right from the back. Steve White's made up a couple of positions to be in 2nd, but he's under fire now, isn't he? Steve Cordes saying, nice job, Luke, Cody, and Nicky. Well run series, fellas. Had a blast. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for those words. And Steve Cordes, was great to have you involved as well. Unfortunately, you're not running in this final race, but mate, it's been fantastic watching you race, and appreciated you being here week in, week out. It's been great watching Steve White here. We'll look out the back of his car down through the dipper, down through this part of the racetrack, which is ever so dangerous. You can easily hit the fence there. We saw Chaz Nosted make a massive mess of himself one year in that fence, didn't we? Down through Forest Elbow, and now down this huge long straightaway. But Q's still about 5/10 behind, so he'll probably close up here in the slipstream. Just have a listen and watch this, folks. Here he comes, so he's starting to get really close now as we come down towards the kink. There they go, folks, hot on his tail. The gap is absolutely nothing. He pokes it down the inside and he moves himself up into second spot, does Brady McHugh. Nice job. He gets in front of Steve White, relegates him back to third. But Steve will be happy with that. Let's hope he can bring it home. 3 laps to go. Bircher is now up the road, 9.9 seconds. In fact, it's almost 10 seconds again in the lead of this race. He's just done a 2:05.8 on that previous lap, so that's a incredibly quick time. And then you can see Brady McHugh's just done a 2:07.3, a 2:09.1 for Steve White on that previous lap. And these guys have got the gap out a fair way from Kyle Girton, who's just crossing the line now. He's 12.8 seconds behind Steve White, so 3 laps to go. What's he doing? He's doing 2:08, so he's matching the same lap times of 2:09, in fact. Matching the same lap times as Steve White. So I don't think, unless Steve makes a mistake, Steve, there he is on your screen, should be able to hang on to the podium here. But Andrew Barron just saying, enjoyed the great historic Formula Ford representation. Gutted I couldn't get my shit together tonight to get out there with you. And we missed you tonight, man. And Rockshape saying Luke Lucas should replace Crofty on the F1. I don't know about that. I've made too many mistakes tonight to get a job doing this for a living, but I definitely have a lot of fun doing it, and it's fantastic. And I think I don't have the voice of Murray Walker, but I definitely make the amount of mistakes that Murray Walker did. And he is always one of my favourite, or he is my all-time favourite commentator, Murray Walker. And I still regularly watch his blooper reels on YouTube. It's just a classic, the amount of errors he would make, but it was just the sense of Formula One, the racing, the extra things that he added was classic, wasn't it? I think Crofty's pretty safe in his job at the moment. But I tell you what, if they give me a ring and they say, can you come and commentate a few live events, I'd definitely say yes, because it's been great getting to know all these drivers, reading their backstory. Most of them have sent through bios, that sort of stuff, and it's just fantastic to learn about them and see them racing here, and the passion that comes across from the real world racing also to the sim world is incredible. A lot of these guys just want to race, and so all of a sudden with COVID-19 restrictions, no racing, what do? They get themselves sims, they buy sim rigs, they do what they have to do to get out there and still race, which is incredible. Righto, we've got 2 laps to go for Cody Bircher. He's just 3 laps to go. He's just on lap 11 now, so we have this one, lap 12, and then the final lap 13. And it will be great to see him finish this one out. He's done a good job putting this series together, or helping out put this series together for Icky and the other guys that have been involved. And big thanks also to Alice, who's helping in the background here, feeding me some information on Discord for all her help throughout the series as well. And it's just been a good team effort in the background, and it's been fun. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching it, and the drivers, I'm sure, have had fun out there racing. Peter Fitzgerald saying, finally getting a rig, White Dogs. There you go. So he's buying himself a rig and getting out there racing, which would be good. And at the moment, Cody Bircher's got the lead out to 12.7 seconds. There's McHugh running in second. There's Steve White running in third. The gap back to Kyle Girton still now over 12 seconds. So at the moment, Whitey's got that third place in the bag. If he can just hang on now. Ryder Quinn, there he is running up Mountain Straight. Fairway back, 54 seconds off the lead with Zach Bates chasing him down. So this might be our next battle. We see here in the final part of the race, Zach Bates trying to get up into 5th position. And it's Josh Jackson a little bit further down the road. There he is, having a pretty lonely race out there. We've seen this second race tonight be a pretty lonely affair for most of the drivers, not having too many battles out there. And then you got Steve Willing, who's just continuing on without that front nose cone. So he'll be in all sorts as far as front end push, but continues to just get to the finish line, which is the main thing. And then from Willing down, everyone else is out of the race, unfortunately. They're all having an early shower here this afternoon at Bathurst, so we've only got 8 runners left out on the racetrack. Incredible. But big thanks to everyone that's still pushing along and making this series what it is, as we are 2.5 laps to go. There's Cody Bircher. Let's ride on board with him and have a listen. So we just had some words come through from Shane Bircher. Thanks for hosting the series, Luke. Formula Ford is the best platform to start your kids racing. The class and its drivers, past, present, and the future, says it all. And that's 100% correct. It's like we've heard week in, week out. It's the stepping stone to bigger things in motor racing, and any of our top drivers that go on to, you know, top levels of either F1 or through Europe, IndyCar, all that sort of stuff. Pretty much all of them have come from Formula Ford. And if you want to get into racing, you've got to get yourself into Formula Ford. Do well, be committed, get a good car behind you as well, and then obviously you can step yourself up into higher categories as you move overseas or up to V8 supercars, that sort of thing. But definitely a fantastic category. As we see Zach Bates now put a move on into the final corner, he gets it done. So he gets up into 5th position ahead of Ryder Quinn. So that's a good job. He's been working away at that for the past couple of laps, and you can just see the lap time there. 1.5 seconds quicker on that lap there alone, but Quinn sticks it down the inside. Oh boy, Bates might have been a bit dirty with that. That was a real big send there from Quinn into the first corner with only 2 laps to go, and luckily that wasn't a huge incident, because that would have taken Zach Bates out and undone all that hard work, and he'll be a bit nervous now, I think, seeing Quinn come right up behind him once again in the slipstream and go for the pass up into Griffins. And look at that, round the outside, hanging out there is Zach Bates, and the pressure is on, far out. And I'm just reading there, so Dave Roberts saying, thanks Luke for your excellent commentary. Sorry I was getting a beer, and a well-deserved beer too, so no worries mate. We tried to have a chat with you before, but I tell you what, at this time of the day on a Sunday arvo, and having a beer is an important thing. What are we calling it? It's 6:10 now, so we're heading off into the evening, and we've been going for over 2 hours and 10 minutes here, so I'm pretty keen crack a beer myself as soon as this race is over. But at the moment, make sure you stick around, because at the end we're going to have a good chat. I think Icky's going to come on for a chat too. The white flag drops here for Cody Bircher, and Brady McHugh in second. Steve White still hanging on to third. He's got that gap. It's 11 seconds, so he should hang on here. I've said everything's crossed for him, and I'm hoping he brings it home and he'll be on the third step of the podium. But this man on your screen right now, Cody Bircher, has absolutely dominated the 2 runs tonight. 16 seconds the gap in race 2. He had a lead of almost 10 seconds in race 1. Fantastic job. Just watching him come up the hill for the last time here. Shout out to Paul Ziddy, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Watching on Facebook, regular races in the National Championship against the Young Guns. Great supporter of the category, worked with Ball and Racing for many years. And Andrew Barron as well, texting on Facebook, really happy with the series. Had fun with all the other historic Formula 4 drivers, and that's correct. Just saw that comment pop up as well. And Caitlin saying, great drive, Brady. Awesome finish in the GT3 series as well. And as we're watching Cody come down the hill for the last time, it's still Bircher McHugh. Great job in second spot there as he heads up across the top of the mountain. Steve White hanging on to third. Good job. Ryder Quinn still in that battle with Zach Bates, although Bates has just got a bit of a breathing spot now, which he'll be happy with. But here's Bircher now coming down the final straight for the final time. I'll just read a few more comments there. It's fantastic to see you guys getting in touch on the on Facebook and putting your comments in as we get towards the end of this session. Peter also just saying they're great for old and new drivers, whatever the age. Most affordable and best form of class of racing in Australia and internationally is Formula Ford, and completely agree. It's fantastic. 1 corner to go for this man. He weaves it down the racetrack. Cody Bircher, he's going to take the checker flag with no one around him. 17.77 seconds is the lead. Checker flag drops, and what an incredible race win there. And he comes home in style, wins both races, wins the round for tonight. And Cody Bircher there will be stoked with that. We'll have a talk to him very soon, and we're going to see a bit of shenanigans, I think, as they head down towards what they call the jump here. Nelly said Caltex Chase, but down at the chase there as Brady locks it all up over the line, finishes in second spot. congratulations. Good effort for him and good points in the bag as well. There's Steve White coming across the line in third. White Dog brings it home for a fantastic third place tonight. Good job. And he'll be stoked with that. So we're going to grab them in for a chat on their cool-down lap here. So, Cody, you're live on the broadcast. Good job, man. You've come home with a win.
Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty eventful at the start, dodging all the traffic. It was just everywhere. Bates and I just took it pretty cautious and didn't do anything too crazy just to make sure we didn't run into anyone.
For sure, man.
But yeah, like obviously once we got around that and it was pretty smooth running from there.
That's it, man. You came through 19 positions to take the win. Brady coming home in second spot there. We're just watching you. Well, actually, you finished your cool-down lap. You've gone back to the pits. Time to finish it up for the evening, mate. But good job coming home in second.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Survived the first couple of laps, and yeah, managed to track Steve down there and get past, and yeah, pretty good race.
That's it. And Steve, good job, man. Third position on the podium with these young guns in front of you, and fantastic effort.
Thanks, mate. It feels like a race win to me. I was quite happy to lead a few laps and just maintain a pace. I knew where I wasn't going to make the minimal amount of mistakes. And congratulations to the guys in the series and the Australian Formula 4 Championship for putting on the E-Series and yourself for commentating.
Mate, it's been a pleasure. We're just watching Cody now do a bit of shenanigans down towards the jump. I'm not sure if this car will make it over the fence. He does. He lands it. Good job, Cody. That'll make the highlight reel. But yeah, congratulations, guys. Stick around because we're going to bring up the top results in a second. And also, I think Icky's coming in for a chat. And we just want to wrap it up with a bit of a party in the Discord if we can. So stick around. But once again, just any words, Cody, first of all, from you for winning the race tonight?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone for everyone that participated in this whole thing. Obviously, it was only a little bit of an idea at the start, but we've had some pretty big turnouts, especially in the first round. So, I mean, I just appreciate everyone turning up and the support from the series.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And then obviously coming home in second there, Brady, do you want to thank anyone and any shout-outs you want to do?
Yeah, thanks for the Formula Ford guys for turning it on. I've been good to catch up with a lot of guys we do a bit of historic racing with, and just thanks to sponsors, Sign Manager, and yeah, cheers.
Good job. And Steve, anyone you want to do a shout out to as you finish up here? I hear you're selling your rig.
I am. I've got a hyperstimulator. I've been very lucky. I've had it for a long time now, and I think it's just time to move on to something different and a little bit of a change.
Yep, that's good. Well, Peter, I think it's Peter on the chat saying he's buying it, and he's stoked that he's come home in third spot in this final round here because it means the value of it's gone up even more.
Yeah, maybe we can negotiate a better deal. But I just want to check out graphics for doing the car designs for the series, and I've known Simon and Asher for a long time now, and also my teammates Jakey Foraker and Stevie Cordes. It's been a good series, and Icky and the Australian Formula 4 Championship again for putting it on. That's
it, mate. And the graphics do look good. The livery on the car looks fantastic as we show the picture from back in the day once again as well.
Yeah, good times.
Right, now we've got Icky with us, so I'm going to throw it over to him. And, mate, I'll let you lead the conversation here, but Icky from Formula Ford Association here with us right now.
Yeah, g'day, Luke. First of all, thank you very much for all your contributions to making all this happen. 12 weeks ago or something, I had no idea about any of this sim racing, and with the help of yourself and Cody Bircher, the two main protagonists in getting this happening, we managed to pull it off and had 5 great rounds, awesome racing. It was a great way for us to stay in contact with our competitors and our sponsors, give everyone something to do and stay connected during this downtime. Really appreciate the help that you and Cody Bircher have put into this. It's been really amazing. Thank you.
It's been fantastic. Now, we had a prize on offer tonight, some gloves, is that right?
Yeah, so one of our championship sponsors, Freem Racewear, they put up a pair of gloves today for the round winner, who we'd like to call the Formula Ford E-Champion King of the Mountain. And that appropriately goes to Cody Bircher, who's been on point every round. He obviously does a lot on the sim. He knows the gaming side of it back to front. And, in any car that he jumps in on a sim, he's always quick. And he was always towards the front throughout this series. So I think it's very appropriate that he takes out the frame gloves this weekend. So congratulations, Cody.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Very good. Now, Icky, we've got some dates that came up through an email to mention. So I've got them in front of me, but I'm sure you do too. Do you want to mention the rounds that are coming up for the New South Wales guys?
Yeah, so at the closure of our virtual racing, it's pretty exciting to think that we can be hitting the tracks and doing some real racing again. Last weekend over in WA, they had the first round of their state championship over there. So that was awesome. And next weekend, the first weekend of August, we have the New South Wales State Championship hitting the ground as well at Sydney Motorsport Park. So that's really cool. In Victoria, things are a little bit different. We've had some problems here recently with increase in COVID stuff and more restrictions going in place. So we do have a Formula Ford test day coming up at Winton on the 11th of August. It was got a lot of interest in people getting out there and cutting a few laps for that one. Anyone that's interested in that, just get in contact with Winton directly to secure your spot there. And then on the national championship level, we released a proposed championship between August and December just recently, and that's really exciting that we could get back out there and have those rounds. There's a lot of things that need to fall into place for that to happen. Primarily, we need to be able to cross borders and to have group gatherings of large sizes. So, with any luck, we'll be back on track very soon, and it could be a very exciting 4 months of racing between August and December, where we have quite a bit of on-track action.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing them out there and smelling the smell of the cars actually running in real life once again. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so, and on that, Luke, I've got a couple of other people that I'd like to make mention to for making this happen as well. But when we do get back to racing and we head to Wakefield Park, which is your closest racetrack, we'd love to see you get down there and get up in the commentary booth and do some live action commentary as well, if you're keen, mate.
Mate, I mean, I'm keen. That would be incredible. So thank you for the offer. I'll definitely take you up on that.
And from our side, just to wrap up, thank you to all of our competitors, our viewers that have taken part and supported the eChallenge, the Formula Ford Association for putting on the event. It's been very successful, and thanks to them. Behind the scenes, we've also had Tanae McLeod from McLeod Media. She put in all our video content together, which just looks amazing as usual, and Alice Piccolo for all her social media stuff in the background. So so thanks again for everyone involved. It's been fantastic, and I'll see you on track soon.
Great, thanks, Icky. And once again, we've just got the results for everyone up on the screen there. Cody Bircher, Brady McHugh and Steve White still with us in the comm box here. Big congratulations, guys, once again for finishing what's been a historic first thing for the Formula Ford Association, running a full E-Series, and you guys have had a fantastic finish in the final round, so congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it.
Right, we'll wrap it up for there. Thanks, everyone, for all your input. Thank you for all the people that have tuned in week out and watched the series. It's been fun. My name's Luke. This is Lucas Esports. We do heaps of different events every night of the week at the moment. It's pretty crazy, so make sure you give us a like and a follow if you're watching for the first time, and a big thanks once again to the Formula Ford Association for putting on this. I know it's been a huge part of my channel broadcasting these 5 rounds, and I've really enjoyed every moment of it. So until next time, and until we do it again sometime, catch you all later. Take care.